is a motion by the Ad hoc Committee on Managed Equipment Services on the adoption of its report. The Section of Properties Bill, National Assembly Bill number 23 of 2019, is also lined up for debate for second reading. Other bills lined up for debate in the second reading include the Prompt Payment Bill, the Community Health Services Bill, and the Equalization Fund Bill, National Assembly Bill number 43 of 2019. In the Committee of the Whole House, the senators will be considering some amendments to various bills, among them the Street Vendors Protection of Livelihood Bill, the Elections Amendment Bill, as well as the Kenyan Sign Language Bill by Senators Gertrude Musuruve and Senator Professor Margaret Kamar. Other bills also lined up for debate include the Wildlife Conservation and Management Amendment Bill, the Law of Succession Amendment Bill, the County Resource Development Bill, and the Livestock and Livestock Products Marketing Board Bill. That's a National Assembly Bill number 2 of 2019. There are some statements which will be issued, others will be sought. And there are also petitions which will be presented in the Senate this afternoon. The Senator for Trans Nzoia County, Senator Dr. Michael Mbito, will present a petition to the Senate by Mr. Joseph Mikolela and others concerning the plight of seed farmers in Trans Nzoia County. The Chairperson, Standing Committee on Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries, will present the report of the Standing Committee on a petition to the Senate by Mr. Isaac Mwangi Mugo and Mr. Njiraini Wanjohi seeking the recognition of graduates of range management course to treat livestock diseases and offer related extension services. The Chairperson, Standing Committee on Land, Environment and Natural Resources, will present to the Senate the report of the Standing Committee on Land, Environment and Natural Resources on a petition to the Senate by Ms. Carol Karuga, Chief Executive Officer of the Kenya Private Sector Alliance, regarding the state of land registries and frequent closure of the Central and Nairobi land registries. If you're just joining us, the Speaker of the Senate, Honorable Kenneth Makelo Lusaka, has walked into the chambers. Now I will hand you over for this live broadcast. Good afternoon.
Let us pray. Almighty God, we beseech you to behold with your abundant favor and blessings as your servants whom you have been pleased to call to leadership positions in this republic. We seek guidance to treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interests you have committed to our charge. Amen.
Order number 1, Administration of oath. Order number 2, communication from the chair. Order number 3, messages. Order number 4, petitions.
Chair, Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries. Yeah. So we want either one of the co-conveners.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I wish to table on behalf of the Committee on Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries, I wish to table a report on the petition to the Senate by Mr. Isaac Mwangi Mugo and Mr. Njiraine Wanjohi, seeking the recognition of graduates of range management course to treat livestock diseases and offer related extension services. Mr. Speaker, this is quite an extensive report, but I need to summarize that yes, we received this petition. It was allocated to us, and we met the petitioners who informed us that they were trained as range managers in range management, and for some period they were allowed to treat animals, to do or to give extension services. Along the line, Mr. Speaker, there was a registration that was passed barring range management students or graduates from giving animal health services. And then and there was established also a special course at Haiti to retrain range management students who had now been banned from offering animal extension services. Mr. Speaker, we talked to Haiti and they confirmed to us that the range management graduates had done less than 200 hours in training, but the new regulation required that one had to do in excess of 600 extra hours. So they established a course for range management students to go back to Haiti and redo the extra hours for them to be allowed to give animal health services. Mr. Speaker, I beg to lay the report.
Report, Chair, Person Standing Committee, Land, Environment, Natural Resources. It's not there. Senator Musuruve, what is it?
Just with your permission, I'll be interested in just giving a quick comment concerning this particular report. When it comes to issues of animals, treatment and all that, there's a course in medicine where eventually people become veterinary, doctors. And they take 6 years to qualify. So I'm just wondering, Honorable Speaker, this range management, does it take the same amount of years? And also when it comes to the curriculum and the nitty-gritties, does it meet what it requires to be a veterinary medicine, doctor, Honorable Speaker? There's need to, I don't know whether the report interrogated that. Thank you for the opportunity.
Okay. Chair Lance, Senator Wambua, we want to limit this because we have, Chair Lance, I had called you, where are you? Okay, Senator Wambua.
Chair, Speaker, I thank you and I respect the sentiments expressed by Senator Musurove on the matter of the training of vets to offer animal extension services. But the Speaker, I sit in that committee. I would encourage Senator Musurove to read the report and then maybe raise any issues, because what she's asking has been properly covered in that report. Thank you, Madam Mr. Speaker.
Senator Mbito is not here, deferred. Next order.
Order number 5, papers.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the Senate today, Thursday, 17 September 2020. The National Police Service Commission Annual Report for the financial year 2018-2019. I thank you.
Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion. Order number 7, statements.
Senator Michael Mbito is not in, we defer. Senator Kabaka.
Mr. Speaker, sir, thank you for giving me this opportunity to issue a statement with regard to unlawful transfer of Kenya Meat Commission, KMC, to the Ministry of Defense. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Orders 48, subsection 1, to seek statement from the Standing Committee on Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries regarding transfer of ministerial responsibility of Kenya Meat Commission, KMC, to the Ministry of Defense. In the statement, the committee should address the following key issues or questions. Number 1, explain what informed the transfer of the Kenya Meat Commission, KMC, to the Ministry of Defense. Number 2, state how long the transfer of KMC to the Ministry of Defense will be in effect. Number 3, state the implication of the transfer of the meat processing facility to the Ministry of Defense on management of agriculture and specifically livestock matters as devolved function by county governments. Number 4, explain whether public participation was ever conducted before KMC was transferred to the Ministry of Defense. And lastly, state the legal instrument used to transfer the Kenya Meat Commission, KMC, to the Ministry of Defense. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Fatuma Dulo.
Mr. Speaker, let me take this opportunity to thank Senator Kabaka for this statement. Mr. Speaker, this is really something that a serious consultation should be done as far as KMC transfer to KDF is concerned. Mr. Speaker, I know we've been having a lot of challenges as far as management of KMC is concerned. But I think for the pastoralists, especially those who rely on that KMC, Mr. Speaker, it is really important, as Senator Kabaka has requested, public participation should have been done, and also way forward as far as those who depend on that KMC are concerned, to be actually clearly a roadmap to be shown how they can be, they can be actually accessing KMC from now onwards. Mr. Speaker, I believe the committee that is going to be concerned with this matter should carry out a thorough investigation and also collect views from those who are actually beneficiaries of KMC before they report this matter to this House. Because when people see KDF, Mr. Speaker, most of our people, even Kenyans, they get scared because they don't know what is involved. Mr. Speaker, some of us who live in the counties where KDF are already claiming land from those counties, if KMC is handed over to KDF, it means even our land issues will be in jeopardy. Mr. Speaker, I think it is important for the committee that is relevant with this matter to properly investigate the handing over of this KMC to KDF. I thank you.
Senator Lekina.
Mr. Speaker, thank you. Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm a worried person and a member of this House, because it's as if anything which is established under an act of this House is completely disregarded. Mr. Speaker, sir, if history serves me right, and the senior senator, who was a former military man, can attest to this, KMC was established in the late 1950s under an act of parliament. So the best thing that the Attorney General could have advised the President is to go back to Parliament and then discuss on how to set up an act of Parliament that can be able to now transfer a devolved function, because I thought livestock and agriculture was devolved, to the national government. Mr. Speaker, sir, Senator Mary Senator has brought several statements in this House asking when farmers are going to be paid for the meat that KMC has taken. Mr. Speaker, sir, I have read in the news and I've been informed, and I believe that the information that I have is accurate, that KDF is actually one of the biggest users and one of the biggest liability to the Kenya Meat Commission. Yes. I mean, there are figures of about 7 billion which are being mentioned that KDF has never paid. So, you know, it shocks me, Mr. Speaker, sir, that in this country now, when there's a problem, you don't create a solution, but you deepen the problem. If KDF owes Kenya Meat Commission 7 billion, and now you've transferred that to them, are you telling us that you will write off that debt? What about the farmers who have supplied meat to the Kenya Meat Commission? Mr. Speaker, sir, I think this House now need to think about if there is any relationship between the national government and the county government, or rather where functions, you know, seem to cross each other. I know there is an issue of the policy coming from the national government. but agriculture and livestock are devolved. So it will be the best way forward would be to ensure that the 47 counties sit down and discuss on how to devolve Kenya Meat Commission. Because if you have Kenya Meat Commission under the Ministry of Defense, how will the people from Isiolo, from Narok, deliver the meat to Kenya Meat Commission in a military zone? The last I checked is that a military zone or area is a protected area. So if you are trying to develop business, how do you then say you can come and do business in an area which is protected? So, Mr. Speaker, sir, one of the things that I would like this committee to also explain is which act of parliament allowed for KDF to be able now to carry out business with civilians, so that we know whether all the other businesses we can now transfer to KDF. We can take all the other companies which are collapsing or which are belly up, take them to KDF and see whether they'll survive. Mr. Speaker, sir, we must protect devolution in this country, and we must protect democracy. We would be failing in our duties if we allow, executive orders which are not advised properly to rule this country. I support the statement, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Senator Yusuf Haji.
Speaker, sir, for the first time, I disagree totally with the sentiment expressed here. Because we know, Mr. Speaker, KMC was one of the most thriving industry in this country during the independence. And it used to supply meat to Yemen and other Middle East countries. Now we have been overtaken by Malawi, a small country, which started its beef industry after independence. Mr. Speaker, I know way back from 1985, when I was a PC in Coast Province, many of the livestock traders could not get their money back for almost a year. I remember coming to Harambee House to see the Chief Secretary, Mzee Nyachai, on the plight of these traders. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Nyachai, efficient as he is, considerate as he was, I remember him calling the National Bank and the Treasury and asking them to give money to KMC so that it can pay that. Mr. Speaker, can you protect us from these guys here? They're turning here as a market. Mr. Speaker.
Order, senators.
Mr. Speaker, government have put in money year after year for KMC to do its work. Mr. Speaker, one of the biggest corruption started with KMC because they used to send their officers to go and buy livestock from our people in Northeastern. And there are cases whereby if a cow was costing 10,000, the person who is buying on behalf of KMC will ask for extra 5,000 so that the cow is sold at 15,000. And that is how KMC have collapsed several times, Mr. Speaker.
Let's consult in low tones, senators.
I think, in spite of the method that was used to transfer, I think it was quite in order, Mr. Speaker, to save this country. Because all our livestock now is going to the Goroti, instead of going to KMC, where you could perhaps get better price. I therefore support the decision of the President and the government to transfer KMC to the military, because the military has proven Major General Badi have proven his ability here in Nairobi. Nairobi is cleaner than it was. Nairobi is safer than it was. Is because of the discipline of the military guy, Mr. Speaker. So I support, and even the chairman of the Northeastern Livestock Organization, Mr. Dubat Ali Ame, I read in the paper he supported that KMC, government have done well to take KMC. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Senator Mwenye Haji. Senator Mwenye Haji.
Asante Mheshimiwa Spika kwa kunipa fursa ya kuchangia taarifa ambayo imeombwa bungeni na Senator Machako, Senator Kabaka. Mheshimiwa Spika, Kenya Meat Commission ni shirika ambalo kwa muda mrefu limeweza kufanya biashara na kuhudumia Wakenya. Katika kaunti ya Mombasa tulikuwa na depot kubwa pale ambapo kulikuwa kuna wanyama wanaletwa wengine kutoka Somalia wakitayarishwa wakisafirishwa kwenda masoko ya nje. Lakini kwa muda zaidi ya miaka 10 Mheshimiwa Spika, hatujaona shughuli yoyote ikiendelea katika Kenya Meat Commission Mombasa. Kwa hiyo Mheshimiwa Spika, swala la kuipeleka Kenya Meat Commission kwa idara ya ulinzi ni jambo ambalo lafaa likemewe, na tutasema kwamba imefanywa kinyume na sheria, kwa sababu Kenya Meat Commission ni shirika ambalo liliundwa kisheria na kulikuwa na sheria ama mswada wa kisheria ambao ulipitishwa kuundwa kwake. Haiwezi kuchukuliwa tu kienyeji na kupelekwa katika Kenya Meat Commission bila taarifa yoyote ya kisheria. Kwa hiyo Mheshimiwa Spika, tunajua kwamba jeshi kazi yake kubwa ni ulinzi wa kitaifa. Wanalinda mipaka yetu. Kwa hivyo kufanya biashara sio kazi katika kazi ambazo wanajeshi wanatakana kufanya. Kwa hiyo Mheshimiwa Spika, swala hili lazima lichunguzwe kwa undani na kamati, na tunaona kwa huu muda wa mwaka huu kutoka uanze tumeona mashirika kadha wa kadha yakitolewa katika mahali pake na yakipelekwa katika sehemu zingine ambapo bila kufuata sheria. Kwa hiyo Mheshimiwa Spika, taarifa hii imekuja katika wakati muafaka. Jana tulizungumzia masuala ya KPA, Kenya Railways na Kenya Pipeline, na leo tunazungumzia masuala ya Kenya Meat Commission. Yote inaonekana kwamba kuna ukiukaji mkubwa wa sheria katika nchi yetu ya Kenya. Mheshimiwa Spika, Kenya ni nchi ambayo ina katiba na ina sheria ambazo zinatakana kufuatwa na wote ambao wanahusika katika mamlaka ya nchi hii. Itakuwa ni kupuuza ama ni kudharau mamlaka yetu kama bunge kukataa kuchunguza swala kama hili na kukemea swala kama hili ambapo tunaona kwamba ukiukaji wa sheria unaendelea kuongezeka. Asante Mheshimiwa Spika.
Senator Abshiro.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I thank you for giving me the opportunity. I rise to support the statement by Senator Kabaka. Mr. Speaker, it's really sad that the use of executive orders and gazettements has become the order of the day. Mr. Speaker, all that is needed to transfer community land to the military is a gazettement overnight, with nothing else. Now, institutions such as KMC, all we need is executive order. Mr. Speaker, it's very sad that the PS at the Ministry of Livestock actually says that it's better because this the military will provide market. Is our military now a meat processor? Is our military now a marketing agency? And what kind of commercialization of our military is this that is going to add more value? If you look at the mandate of KMC, Mr. Speaker, it is value addition through processing of meats and meat products and marketing. Is now our military a meat processor that is going to add value and market our products wherever it is? And if indeed it is the military that is the consumer, we are told, oh, it's buy Kenya, build Kenya. Can the military buy from an agency of government or from the private sector? Or it's even better to privatize it if the government is not very good at doing meat business. In fact, what government should be doing at this point, anytime they are not in a position to do some business, get out of it. We have a very robust private sector. If you look at Farmer's Choice, if you look at Alpha Fine Foods, if you look at, we have such a robust meat processing private sector. Why not privatize it? And we cannot use the non-performance of KMC. It is non-performing because it's government-owned, and give it to another government agency and expect it to do any better. It is disenfranchising communities that have used this meat processor. It is not right, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, at the rate we're going, somebody asked, I think it was somebody from food, was it called Route to Food? He asked, is the military going to be teaching our children going forward? And I agree with these sentiments, because at the rate we're going, while we really appreciate what individuals from the military have done, including the NMS DG, it doesn't mean that we have to commercialize the military as well. I think we should take exception to that as this House and make sure that we don't accept these kinds of things. It doesn't make commercial sense. It doesn't make food security sense. It doesn't make agricultural sense. It's even better if it had gone to the Ministry of Industry, for instance, or is it called Ministry of Industrialization? Or what is it? Trade, yes, if that is what it is. But the military, it baffles me to think that now our military is actually, meddling in meat processing. So I support, Mr. Speaker, and especially coming from areas that, that would have been one of the industries, the only industries that would be feeding into the livestock. We take exception and we say, why could it not have been privatized? It's a legitimate option that could have been done. So I support, Mr. Speaker, and I hope that when the committee is doing that, it will invite some of us to be part of the process. I thank you.
Senator Wambua.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to support this statement by my brother and my neighbor, Senator Kabaka. The Speaker will just raise two issues. One, this idea that everything that does not seem to be working should be given to the military to manage is a very dangerous idea, Mr. Speaker. The Speaker, as a son of a military man, I know the military is best kept in the barracks. And the engagement with civilian activities, Mr. Speaker, should be very measured, with very clear objectives. They get in there, achieve the objective, and go back to the barracks. The Speaker, this decision to transfer the functions of an institution established by an act of parliament to the ministry through an executive order, it sets a very bad precedent, Mr. Speaker. And because the Kenya Meat Commission is an institution that deals with livestock falling under agriculture, which is a fully devolved function, the Speaker, this Senate must make certain demands before this order is finalized. And one of the demands that this Senate can make, Mr. Speaker, is that full disclosure be made on the decisions that informed the move to transfer the functions of the Kenya Meat Commission to the Ministry of Defense. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, it will be important for this Senate to make a demand that the Minister for Agriculture appears before this Senate before he does the final handover of the functions of the KMC to the Ministry of Defense. Because, Mr. Speaker, if we allow this to happen, and we see what has happened, Mr. Speaker, with the deed of transfer between the county government of Nairobi and the Ministry of Devolution, even before the ink that signed the deed of transfer dries, we are now having issues, conflicts of interest, inability to deliver services. The Speaker, I support this statement and urge this House to make those demands and make sure that proper procedures are followed before these functions are transferred. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Mahmood.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Let me support this statement by Senator Kabaka Machakos. So, Speaker, KMC was established on an act of parliament. To the best of our knowledge, it has not been repealed. That act has not been repealed. KMC was established for a purpose, and over the years, government neglected the KMC, and in fact, it stopped having the purpose it had. And instead of funding it, the government has now, transferred it to KDF. I don't understand actually how a meat commission, a parastatal, actually gets transferred to our military. This idea of militarizing our institutions actually should stop. Even if it was done, then there must be proper public participation, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we know KMC was not functioning properly. The reason it was not functioning properly because there was a funding problem. KMC actually should have been commercialized and given to private sector to run. For many years, that has been the debate, and in fact, when NAC government came to power in 2003, they decided to open and fund it, but the funding was never adequate. But instead of now commercializing and making it a private entity where the private sector can run properly, we now hand over to the military. In fact, it's now going to be a military installation. I don't know how we're going to people are going even to deliver their animals there, because it's going to be a guarded area, a security area. So I think a proper procedure must be followed so that Kenyans understand how this transfer is done and how the institution will function. So, Speaker, sir, I beg to support.
Steward, Senator Mazayo.
Shukran, Bwana Spika. Bwana Spika, mimi nataka niunge mkono taarifa hii. Kitu cha kwanza, Bwana Spika, kazi ya wanajeshi ama ulinzi wa taifa letu uko chini ya majeshi.
What's your point of intervention, Senator Haji?
I'm sorry to interrupt my brother, but I want to say that military all over the world do business. They do farming. I've been to Egypt, military. They make furnitures, they make carpets, they sell. Therefore, it is not only Kenya which is trying to industrialize, it is army. Thank you.
Asante sana babangu kwa sababu ya kunipatia wasia huo. Uliosema ni kweli kabisa. Lakini katika matamshi yangu ni kwamba tokea tukiwa wadogo tunajua wale wanaochukua bunduki wakiweka kiunoni, aidha ni polisi kwa sababu ya kutulinda sisi, ama tukiona wamevaa zile nguo za green tunajua wao ni watu wanaketi katika mipaka, ama wakija huku ndani ya nchi wanatusaidia katika mipaka yetu kulinda nchi yetu. Nashukuru sana ya kwamba katika maeneo ambao babangu Haji ameweza kutembea, ameweza kuona masuala kama hayo yakiwa yanaendelea, wanaweza kuuza ng'ombe. Lakini hapa Kenya ni kwa mara ya kwanza kwa historia kuona ya kwamba watu wa wanajeshi watahusika na mambo ya kuuza ng'ombe. Hata Wakenya wenyewe watashangaa sana wakiona wanajeshi wanauza ng'ombe. Hii tabia kama hii ndio tumeona hivi majuzi. Wale ambao wako katika vyeo vya kijeshi wanapewa makazi ya utawala. Hivi karibuni, Bwana Spika, unajua utawala ni tofauti na kuwa mkubwa wa majeshi. Kwa sababu moja tu, Bwana Spika. Bwana Spika, ukirudi kwa barabara ukianza kutawala, wewe ule utamu utausikia iko siku itafika na wale wanajeshi ambao tunaonjesha kutawala sasa, wengine wanaingia kwa siasa, wengine wanaingia wapi, watakuja kuchukua hii nchi kimabavu. Kwa hiyo sisi tunasema ule mpango wa kwanza wa kusema ya kwamba wao sasa waanze kutawala upande wa kuangalia KMC, kuuza nyama kwa nchi zingine, kuhesabu ng'ombe ni wangapi, mbuzi ni wangapi. Hii, Bwana Spika, ni jambo ambalo sisi tunaona tulipinge, halifai, na huo mkataba
communities, health workers, and healthcare leaders and policymakers to show their commitment to ensuring patient safety. The theme today was established, and it is as a legacy of the day, highlighting the importance of prioritizing and addressing all issues that deal with ensuring that our patients are always safe. The Ministry of Health, in tandem, continues to value the role that our healthcare workers play in executing patient safety, and particularly in these times of COVID-19. Without their invaluable support our frontline healthcare workers, we would not have managed to deal with the virus in the manner that we have done so far. Health workers countrywide in all counties have shown that they are truly heroes and heroines for standing up to be counted during this period of the pandemic. For this great support and dedication to duty by our healthcare workers, the country will forever be indebted to them. And on behalf of the Ministry of Health and on my own behalf, we would like to say a big thank you to our healthcare workers. Now, during the COVID-19 response that continues to be an issue that we are dealing with, healthcare workers have faced several challenges that are specific to the pandemic. Some of these challenges include risks in terms of infections, challenges when it comes to violence. We have had incidences where healthcare workers have been affected through violent acts. We've had incidences of stigma. We've had incidences of psychological disturbances, emotional disturbances amongst our healthcare workers, illnesses, and even death. And therefore, the idea that all these issues should afflict our healthcare workers makes it very central to ensure that their safety is attended to, particularly when they're dealing with this pandemic. And so today presents an excellent opportunity to reflect on the progress, to consider the challenges faced as we plan to grow on how to continue to deliver effective and good quality services to patients in the country. For the last 6 months, we have witnessed a number of our healthcare workers contract the virus, with some succumbing to the disease. And apart from COVID-19, it is important to remember, as our healthcare workers serve us, they continue to be exposed to other infections, including but not limited to hepatitis B, HIV/AIDS, tuberculosis, assaults, and other challenges that all emanate from their noble service to humanity. And so as government, we continue to support them. During this COVID pandemic, we continue to ensure that they are adequately trained, that they have the adequate and timely supply of PPEs, and that their mental well-being is taken care of by providing psychosocial support services for them. We also continue to maintain an open door policy for them to be able to engage with us, to share their experiences, to curate lessons that they are learning, because remember, they are the ones who are in the front line, and to also listen to their grievances and together create solutions towards this. With regards to the policy framework for patient safety, the ministry has put in place a comprehensive, safe, and quality policy framework that ensures that patient safety and healthcare worker safety is ingrained at all levels of government, at all service delivery points. And to this end, this policy would not be possible without the critical role that is played by our regulatory bodies, particularly noting the role played by the Kenya Medical Dentists and Practitioners Council, the role played by the Nursing Council, the Pharmacy and Poisons Board, as well as the Clinical Officers Council, and all the activities therein that touch on health worker safety. And so we thank these regulators for their commitment and for paying attention to safety and quality for our healthcare workers. We would like to remind you all that a safe health worker means a safe patient. And so turning on to the COVID-19 situation, today from a sample size of 4,188, we have gotten 183 people positive, bringing our total case cost load to 36,576. Of these cases, all are Kenyans except 14 who are foreigners, with the youngest being a 7-month-old infant and the oldest being 80. And in terms of gender, 131 are male, whereas 52 are female. In terms of disaggregation by county, we have Nairobi County leading with 54, Kisumu County follows on with 26, Mombasa has 20, Trans Nzoia 16, Kericho 11, Nakuru 10, Kisii 7, Machakos 6, Meru 5, Turkana 5, Lamu, Nyeri, Siaya, Kiambu have 3 cases, Kajiado, Busia, Homa Bay, Kilifi, and Samburu have 2 cases, whereas Kakamega and Embu each have 1 case. We have provided you with a disaggregation by sub-county. For Nairobi, just touching on that, of the 54 cases, we have 10 coming from Starehe and Westlands, and disaggregation of the subsequent counties is provided. In terms of our recoveries, today we have 82 people that have recovered from the disease, 33 from the home-based care program, whereas 49 have been discharged from various health facilities. And so with regards to total recoveries, we stand at 23,611. And as mentioned earlier today, celebrating healthcare workers, noting that their safety is important, we continue to thank them and appreciate them for the good work done. With regards to our fatalities, sadly, we have lost 5 patients to the disease, bringing our fatality to 642. And we extend our condolences to the family and friends of those who have lost their loved ones. And finally, as we commemorate this day, we would like to inform you, to date, since the beginning of the pandemic, a total of 945 healthcare workers have been infected with the virus, whereas 16 of these have succumbed to the virus across 35 counties in the country. We would want to appeal to all Kenyans in respect and in honor of our fallen 16 healthcare workers, that we can observe 1 moment of silence. Thank you. We continue to celebrate our healthcare workers. We would now like to have a question and answer session.
Good afternoon. I'm Purity Musel from KBC. My first question regards the county paralysis of services, including healthcare services. I think this compromises the fight or the response, the COVID-19 response. What next, especially from the Minister of Health, and having over 36,000 cases of COVID-19. And also, healthcare workers continue to down tools because of different claims, including salaries. Today, we witnessed patients being returned home at Kiambu Level 5 Hospital. Again, what are you doing as the ministry to protect healthcare workers to ensure that their needs are being met? And also this issue of the counties paralyzing their services. Is there anything that you are doing to also come in and help, especially in the fight against the coronavirus?
Hello, my name is David Mudhoka from TV47. Picking up from where Purity left, indeed today we've seen a number of county hospitals partially closed where there are no new inpatient admissions and the outpatient admissions are done as scaled. Is the ministry aware of a number of hospitals, and are there efforts to make sure that this does not persist, especially on a day that today we mark the World's Patient Safety Day? The safety of our patients is at risk with the ongoing and that sundown that began today.
think Kaimba wants to say something.
Okay, thank you. Maybe I'm Haimba from Ebro TV. Kindly, Dr. I don't know whether up to until now, as the cases continues to decrease, do we have any hope for medication of COVID-19 up to now? Any lasting solution towards it?
Thank you. Thank you, Aimba, for that question, and Purity and David Madoka. With regards to, is there any magical pill, that has been discovered for COVID-19? Trials continue across the world. The last promising news that we shared with you the last time was on dexamethasone, which is a common drug that is utilized when it comes to different ailments, and that had been shown to actually have positive outcomes, reduced length of stay in hospital for COVID-19 patients. I'm aware new trials continue for different medicines, and the DG will be able to expound on any new drug. But with regards to a pill that can completely cure COVID-19, we are not there yet across the world, and these efforts are still underway to try and see if anything will be found that can actually be a remedy for COVID-19. But it becomes important, Aimba, to remind us that perhaps the biggest cure is the three things that we talk about. The hand washing, the social distancing, and the face masking are very crucial and are perhaps what we call non-therapeutic measures of actually defeating COVID-19. And we continue to remind all Kenyans to continue observing these measures. When it comes to the question, and these are two-in-one questions by David on hospitals continuing to operate, and the issue of low hospital admissions, new admissions. This morning we've had discussions with various county governors who have actually impressed upon us the need to ensure that there's continuity of essential health services. And so I'm aware governors are standing on to ensure that if someone needs that critical service, that service will be available. Any issues that may be happening in any hospital pertaining payment of any salary arrears, issues of promotions are being handled through the mechanisms that are there. But I can give you assurances from the discussions we've had in the morning, hospitals are operating, that service is available for you. And then most importantly, our leaders continue to debate and come out with a solution for the current standoff. And so I'm sure everything should end out, panning out correctly. This morning, particularly in Kiambu County, we were able to discuss with the governor, and things are going on accordingly. And so no fear, these services are there. The doctors are there, they're waiting for you. The nurses are there, they're waiting for you. The hospitals are running. This is an absolutely crucial and essential service when it comes to COVID-19, but also when it comes to the health of our nation. I think I would like to have the DG really jump into the issue of any medication, anything in terms of drugs. Is there any advancement in terms of the different trials that are underway?
Thanks, Madam CS. As you have clearly stated, so far, no specific pharmaceutical intervention that can be able to cure COVID-19. However, significant progress has been made in trying to use a combination of various pharmaceutical agents to be able to reduce the chance of death and also the morbidity associated with COVID-19. And as you clearly have stated, is one of them, of course, is dexamethasone, which showed significant use, especially those who are in critical care, by reducing mortality by about 30%. Our doctors are also using other antiviral agents, including Avigan or favipiravir, remdesivir, and a combination of these to be able to reduce the chances of death for critical care patients, and also to reduce the average length of stay either in ICU or hospital setting. So far, no clear bullet, but this combination of drugs have helped certain patients, but not all of them. But as Madam CS clearly indicated, our focus for now should be on infection prevention control and the public health social measures, including avoiding gatherings and ensuring that we maintain physical and social distance and wearing our masks when we're in public places. Of significance, of course, is also the work that is being done in vaccine development. As at today, there are 5 vaccine candidates that are in phase 3 trial, which is the final phase of any trial on vaccine development, with very good promising results, including the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine, the Moderna vaccine, the Chinese vaccine, and 2 others. And we are hopeful that going forward, in the next few months, maybe in the next quarter 2, quarter 3 of 2021, we could have a vaccine in place. But remember, the process of vaccine development and availing the vaccines is also a huge logistical nightmare. So that is why Kenya has joined the rest of the world in what we call the COVID vaccine facility, or COVAX facility, under the leadership of WHO and Gavi, the Global Vaccine Alliance. This is to ensure that the rest of the world consolidate together to ensure that we develop one common vaccine, develop a platform of delivery. Remember, even if you get the vaccine, it will not be possible to immunize all the 6.5 billion population of the world in one go. So even when we have the vaccine, we'll have to prioritize. And of course, the healthcare workers will be at the top of the priority, and those with the comorbid conditions, and of course the other vulnerable conditions, including those who are over 60. So getting the vaccine is one thing, but getting it to the people who require it will still remain a challenge. And that is why the global community has come together with a budget of about $37 billion. Unfortunately, we have only raised 10% of that money to ensure access and equity once the vaccine becomes available. But also to warn is that there's also what is coming out as vaccine nationalism or protectionism, where countries, and I'll not mention that specific country, is really trying to ensure that they have the vaccine for its own population. But that will not assure the safety of the world, because if we get a vaccine, the best is to avail it to the entire world population, because COVID anywhere is COVID everywhere. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, teacher.
Polisi. Mpaka siku ya leo sisi hatuwezi kujua kama kweli hawa watu ni polisi au hawa watu ni majambazi. Kwa hivyo kuna hali ya kutatanisha sana. Tumekuwa katika hali ya hofu. Hata nikienda katika sehemu za mji wa Mombasa, ambayo senator yuko hapa, sitaki kuongea mambo ya Mombasa sana. Kuna watu wamekosekana mpaka leo, hawajulikani mahali wako. Kwa hivyo hasa kule pwani sisi tuko katika hali ya kutatanisha. Vijana wako katika hali ya tahadhari kubwa sana. Kwa hivyo hii arifa ambayo imetolewa na Daktari Abdullahi, senator wa Wajir, ni ya kweli, na sisi tungetaka hasa hawa mawaziri wawili wakuje mbele ya seneti hii watueleze mahali watu wetu wako. Asante sana.
Okay, thank you very much. I think the issues raised by the chairman of security and other members and Senator Abdullahi are grave matters concerning human life. And therefore, when you get the chairman complaining, that means it's a very serious matter. Therefore, I'm directing that the Minister for Internal Security, for Security, and the Minister for Defense appear before the Committee of Security on Wednesday next week. It is so directed. Next statement by Senator Falhada Imna. Yes, Senator Haji.
We have summoned the Inspector General of Police and the DCI to appear before the whole House.
So, okay, I directed they appear on Tuesday?
Fine.
Okay, Tuesday. It's so directed. Senator Falhada.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise pursuant to Standing Order 47-1 to make a statement on an issue of general topic concern, namely the use of Chinese on social media application, TikTok. Mr. Speaker, there have been a serious allegation against the application on the issue of data privacy. The application gathers information on the user's country location, internet address, and type of device, if allowed. It will also ascertain the user's exact location, phone's contact, and other social media network connections, as well as age and phone number. All this information is geared towards creating a profile of the user and not targeting advertisement as users presume. The application is also alleged to understand the user's area, what they like, find funny, and what they say to their friends. Hackers who could cause all sorts of harm to an individual can also access this data easily. Mr. Speaker, in Kenya, the platform has attracted a lot of users since its inception and introduction into the market in the year 2018. Kenyans share short videos in the platform for entertainment, while others use it to advertise their products. The question thus arises to the safety of the data that Kenyans unknowingly provide to the application regarding themselves. Mr. Speaker, the application has created a culture of violence, hate speech, bullying, and exchange of sexually explicit content, which in some cases are part of the trending topics with 1 million of posts. This has raised ethical concerns about the application and has contributed negatively to Kenyan society, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic era, when schools have remained closed for a long period of time. Mr. Speaker, sir, I would like to urge the Standing Committee on Standing Committee on Information and Technology to work with other government agencies to come up with a policy and legal framework to ensure safe usage of such applications and safeguard the metadata of the Kenyans that is being collected by the TikTok application. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Mwaura Isaac.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika, kwa sababu ya hiyo arifa ambayo imetolewa na mwenzangu Senator Falhada Imanadeko kuhusu hiyo application ya TikTok. Kwa sababu nafikiri niliposikia vile ambavyo yamechangia, mambo hayo pia yanahusisha pia zingine kama zile Facebook na Twitter na kadhalika. Na Mheshimiwa Spika, tunajua fika nini ambacho kinachoendelea katika anga za kimataifa. Kwamba Uchina ambao ni nchi ambayo imeendelea sana kutokana na utengenezwaji wa bidhaa nyingi, hata hapa tukiangalia nyingi zimetoka kule Uchina. Lakini sasa hivi wameanza pia kuingia katika mambo ya internet, mambo ya kutumia teknolojia ili kuweza kuwasiliana. Na ukiangalia zile kampuni ambazo mwanzo zimeweza kusajiliwa ama kuanzishwa kule Marekani, kama kule Silicon Valley, zenyewe pia zimeweza kushtakiwa katika anga za kimataifa kwa sababu ya kutokuwa na usiri wa data ambayo wanatoa kutokana na watu wote ulimwenguni. Kwa hivyo ni kweli nakubaliana na Mheshimiwa Falhada kwamba ni vizuri kuangalia hususan vile ambavyo hii data inatumiwa hususan kwa mambo ya ununuzi katika soko huria ambazo zipo katika ulimwengu huu. Lakini Mheshimiwa Spika, isiwe ni njia nyingine ya vile ambavyo tumeona vita kati ya iPhone na Huawei. kwa sababu tunaona kwamba kuna kule kuingiliwa kwa nchi ya Uchina, hususan kwa sababu wanaanza kuchukua masoko ambayo yalikuwa yamedhaminiwa na nchi za kimagharibi. Isiwe ni kisingizio kuharibia jina, kwa sababu tunaona hata nchi kama Marekani wana bajeti maalum ya kuhakikisha kwamba wanapiga kule kusonga mbele kwa utumiaji wa bidhaa zote ambazo zinatoka katika kule Uchina. Kwa sababu, Mheshimiwa Spika, kwa nini nasema hivyo? Ukiangazia takwimu, uchumi wa Marekani uko zaidi ya dola trilioni 21. Uchumi wa Uchina uko dola trilioni 14.4. Na inakisiwa kwamba chini ya miaka 10 uchumi wa Uchina utaweza kupita uchumi wa Marekani. Na kwa sababu Uropa na Marekani waliendelea kwa sababu ya kutengeneza bidhaa na kutoa moshi mkubwa na kuharibu mazingira, sasa hivi hata Uchina kwa sababu ya vile vile wanataka kuendelea kuanza kufanya kazi kupitia mitandao. Kwa hivyo sio haki kusema kwamba ni kidude tu kimoja cha nchi fulani ambacho kinatumia data visivyo. Ikumbukwe sana kwamba, Mheshimiwa Spika, hapa humu nchini kuna kampuni inayoitwa Cambridge Analytica ambayo ilitumiwa kufanya ukarabati wakati wa uchaguzi. Kwa hivyo mimi mwenyewe nasema ndivyo waangalie, lakini wasiangazie tu TikTok. Waangalie pia Facebook, waangalie Twitter, waangalie Instagram na pia WhatsApp. Kwa hivyo ninaunga mkono, lakini naendelezea kwamba isiwe tu ni kwa sababu hii application imetoka tu katika nchi ya Uchina.
Senator Cherargei.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir, I want to congratulate Senator Falhada for that statement that she has made on the issue of TikTok. I think TikTok is famous among the young people because you can share a short video. Most people use for songs, among others. And in fact, the latest was during COVID, where one of the ladies, I think from Kakamega County, was able to make magical moves on the song Je Utawezana. And it depends on how you can use it depends on how you can use that application, Mr. Speaker. But I agree in general, or principality is that the internet, the usage of internet, Mr. Speaker, should be used to promote our values and principles within our society. I think Kenya and government has allowed all Tom, Dick and Harry, especially in the internet issues, to erode our values and principles. But Mr. Speaker, you remember now most of our children are at home since because of COVID, and TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, among other social media sites have been a place where many young people are influenced either negatively or positively. But TikTok is a good when you want to use it, because I know many young people that have used to promote their own music talents and other talents, because of course you can't gain entry into the mainstream media. Mr. Speaker, secondly is that there has been a fight, and my brother has alluded to, over the Cambridge Analytica, where they were using to know your preference, especially when the issue of interference of election in 2016 in the United States of America. And that matter, even the CEO of Facebook was being summoned by the Senate of the US to try and understand how Cambridge Analytica was able to use Facebook, among other social media sites, to collect information on preferences, especially on election during that time, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I agree that this matter must be dealt with. You remember there was an issue of Huawei and iPhone, on the issue of usage of Android, among other things, and other applications. And this has become a matter of concern. Mr. Speaker, my worry with these applications is they are able to collect so much more information. And I remember, Mr. Speaker, when you facilitated us to visit Canada, Vancouver, in last year, and we were able to meet a committee on information technology of the Canadian Parliament, and they were telling us there are so many characters that Facebook require until they can know your preference, they can know your thinking. And this can be used to collect the intelligence, to collect the information, which is not good for any country, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, therefore, I want to thank our Senator Valhada for bringing this to the attention, that in as much as social media are good for our young people, we should use it in a positive and finally, Mr. Speaker, this issue, as even we discussed on the issue of TikTok and the usage of TikTok, Mr. Speaker, we should not also allow the curtailing of freedom of expression and freedom that is enshrined in the Constitution. The freedom of information is one of the key issues that we must protect, even as we invite the government to try and look and try to protect young people from TikTok, from Facebook, from Twitter, issuing proper policy within the Ministry of Information and Technology, Mr. Speaker. We must allow also not that violation of freedom of information. So, Mr. Speaker, the usage of TikTok as an application, it requires many information and character which should be carefully looked at, but I've seen many young people that have used TikTok to the benefit of their own exploitation of talents. And Mr. Speaker, let us protect our young people from also unnecessary influence that will erode our values and culture in this country. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, that's enough for that particular statement. Order, members. Next statement is by Senator Moses Wetangula. Eh? What's your point of order, Senator?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm looking at the clock, and it's 3:40 p.m. As a member...
Order, Senators. Let's consult in low tones.
Mr. Speaker, sir, as a member of House Business, we had agreed at House Business Committee that we will suspend the deliberation and then go out there and have a kamkunji so that the Committee of 12 and the leadership can be able to report to the House on the way forward. Mr. Speaker, sir, I would like to request that we take this matter seriously, because outside there we are getting hit hard that Senate is pussyfooting. Senate is indecisive. They are not giving Kenyans what they want. Mr. Speaker, sir, what we agreed on in House Business, we should actually right now, I request with all humility that we suspend any other business, we go out in a kamkunji so that we can brief the rest of the members on the final thing that we agreed on. Mr. Speaker, sir, our names are circulating. There is a page which is circulating with signatures that we agreed to be able to send money to counties. So I don't see the reason as to why we should proceed with any other business. I mean, look at the House, Mr. Speaker, sir. There are small kamkunjis meeting outside. Can we then now go out and discuss this way forward so that we can send money to counties? I'm tired, Mr. Speaker, sir, of being hit hard by Kenyans out there who are being lied to that Senate is the one which is indecisive. Senate has made a decision, and let us live with that decision now. We go there. We have signed 12 non-partisan members have appended their signatures so that we can send money to the counties. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, I would like to request, with all humility, that we stop any other business in this House today. Let's go out there and let's give Kenya the way forward.
Senator Mogeni, what do you want to? Senator Mogeni? You know very well, order, members. Senator Mogeni, before I...
Mr. Speaker, sir.
Yes, order, members.
Mr. Speaker, sir.
Yeah.
There is very loud consultation, Mr. Speaker.
Order.
There is very loud consultation.
Okay, order. Senators, take your seats.
Yeah.
We need to move with speed.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Yeah.
I rise to second the request by my good friend, Senator for Narok. Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, if you go to social forums, this House is being hit left, center, and right. Mr. Speaker, we cannot pretend that we have any more important business to discuss than to decide on this issue of revenue allocation to counties. Mr. Speaker, I want to request the Speaker that in the best interest of this country, we should adjourn now. We go out to a Kamkunji, we get a brief from the 12 committee members. If we agree or disagree, we come back to the House, we vote, and we bring this matter to a close, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, order. Order, senators. Order, senators. Oh. Okay. Order, members. You know very well that the Speaker must wait for an issue to be raised. And therefore, Senator Sakaja, I give you the floor.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I beg that I be heard in silence. Mr. Speaker, I rise pursuant to...
Order, members. Consult in low tones. Order, members. Order. Senator Whip, take your seat.
Mr. Speaker.
Order, members.
Mr. Speaker, I want to persuade members.
Order. Let's consult in low tones.
To listen.
Listen,
Mr. Speaker, these members gave me a mandate together with Senator Wetangula. Today we saw smoke that is white in color. We have a solution. Kenya has a solution. We have a solution for the Republic of Kenya. And Mr. Speaker, I want to ask you, using Standing Order 1, I've consulted with the clerks at the table, to just suspend business for 30 minutes so that we update, yes, so that we update. Members, we were at SBC and we agreed to update members our... Mr. Speaker,
Order, Senator Murkomen. Order, members.
Our report is as it was, Senator Wambua. Senator Wambua, I have led your team for more than a month. Trust me.
Order, members. Order, members.
We need just 30 minutes so that we report back. This House gave us a mandate.
Yeah.
And you're all aware of what we've agreed on. We want you to affirm it. We come here, we vote, and give this country a formula, Mr. Speaker.
Order, members. Order, members. Order, members. Order, members. Order, members. I remember. Order, members. Order, members. Let us be orderly. Order. Senator, take your seat. Order, members. With order. Let us be orderly. This is what I want to communicate. Yes, sir. That we held a House Business Committee this morning, and we did agree that the committee that we gave a task will report to us, and after that, we come back, we reconvene, and vote. And therefore, I'm suspending the House for 20 minutes so that they give us a report, and then we reconvene after 20 minutes. It is so directed.
And so many other things that it is within the mandate of CDF. It has done significant improvement, particularly in support to security matters, particularly in construction of the police and sub-district headquarters. Honorable Speaker, CDF as far as I'm concerned, it has been transformative in terms of its allocation and support to development in the rural. There have been a similar arrangement which has been done by some counties, although it is not, it's not anchored in law, and providing for ward funds. Honorable Speaker, if you look at it and compare the contribution of CDF and the ward funds, particularly an equal amount of money, you will be able to realize that the CDF has had a mark, and it's visible in terms of the infrastructure improvement, particularly in the schools and those that have been designed for. So I will suggest into the future that if, as we process and proceed on to the BBI, if we can be able to realize an increment in terms of the CDF contribution to a 5% or 10%, so that we can have a meaningful improvement. Honorable Speaker, one thing I've noted is that the government of Kenya has rolled out 100% transition. 100% transition means every child who finished class 8 has to proceed to secondary school. And what the government have done, despite initiating the policy, there was no commensurate development or funds allocated for development of classrooms and other infrastructure or labs. So what has happened is that CDF has become very handy in supporting the 100% transition which has been rolled out by the government of Kenya. Particularly, we have also realized that day schools have had a significant impact, because if we are able to construct not boarding schools but day schools, and we will realize so many of the children can still be able to go to their homes, their comfort of their homes, and go to school from a day school. So if we emphasize on construction of day schools, then we will have a significant impact in trying to support education. Honorable Speaker, through the support of CDF, I was able to roll out 3 girls' secondary schools in the last 3 years, 3 girls' secondary schools, with an enrollment of about 1,500 girls. That is a significant improvement in a pastoralist setting where girls are not no go to school. So the contribution and this life-changing aspect of the CDF is significant and something that can be emulated by any meaningful development partners to the future. Honorable Speaker, through the CDF, I was able to initiate the development of a sub-district which has been given to me, which has been gazetted by the Honorable Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta and way back in 2017, and could not be able to move because of lack of funding. So we were able to build an office block and a residential for the district sub-DCC for Korofharar through the CDF. So the significance of CDF is enormous, and it's something that needs to be supported so that we can be able to change the life of our people. Thank you.
Honorable Tiende Amolo. Well, I'm just following the list, honorable members. I will not follow the hands. No, I'm not. You have let it out, so we go to the next one on the line, and that would be the majority whip.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, allow me to really appreciate the report by the Committee on Special Funds and thank the entire committee for the good work that they've done. Honorable Speaker, what comes out of this is the question that is, what is an audit, Honorable Speaker? An audit, in my view, is not a sentence that puts you in trouble. It's not a sentence, Honorable Speaker, that blames you. Instead, Honorable Speaker, to me, an audit is simply a statement to enable you correct the past for the better of tomorrow. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, I feel an audit that is done properly will help an organization to run its affairs very well. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, I want to agree and appreciate the report as it is in entirety, so that the various constituencies, Honorable Speaker, that are involved can now improve from what has been highlighted from the audit, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, some of the key issues that have come up is the issues of reallocation of funds. I want to agree that reallocation is a challenge, Honorable Speaker, not just emanating from the constituency itself alone, but also, Honorable Speaker, the manner in which
the CDF board takes time to effect the changes that are proposed coming out of reallocation, Honorable Speaker, is a lot of time. Therefore, I wish to ask that the CEO, together with the board, let them recognize the issue that they are a secretariat, they are supporting the various constituencies in terms of implementing the fund, and therefore let them be very effective when it comes to reallocation, Honorable Speaker. This fund is bottom-up in the approach of the operation of the fund, and when a particular need existed 6 months ago, varies from what is possible today, Honorable Speaker, let the board now appreciate and see that it changes to that effect, Honorable Speaker. Therefore, it's my plea and request to the board that let them quickly move. Honorable Speaker, for instance, we received a circular from the board asking that we can vary funding from bursary to other development concerns. For instance, building of schools, classrooms because of the COVID issues. But Honorable Speaker, for those who applied up to today, that transfer has not, that issue has not been effected. How do you now put that into action on the ground? Yet, Honorable Speaker, we can see the CS for Education is talking of this month, next week, this month, the following week, until he'll make a quick decision, Honorable Speaker, on when is it going to reopen schools. Should he say he reopens in October, Honorable Speaker, it means the funds that were committed from the bursaries will still not have been effectively put to use. And yet we know, Honorable Speaker, Public Procurement Disposal Act gives us numbers of days when we are supposed to procure. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, the issue of reallocation is an issue which must be supported by the board and the membership of the CDF, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the issues that came out from the report talks about the parities in terms of the amounts which are used. For example, building a class at 500 shillings, 1,000 shillings, same institution, building another class at 600 or 800, Honorable Speaker. That's an issue of quantity, and Honorable Speaker, I would want to say it shouldn't be used to either abuse or to correct the issues that are happening in a particular constituency. Instead, Honorable Speaker, should you build up a one-story building equivalent to 2 classrooms, by virtue of the 2 floors, the ratio will be different. Should you build, Honorable Speaker, using bricks, for example, and using blocks, would be different. Should you use natural stones, Honorable Speaker, versus the machine-cut stones, the costing will be different. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, universality in terms of the pricing, let it be put to use, let it be put by the board, so that the QS can be able to ascertain what are the relatively acceptable prices that apply for a particular square meters of a building. With that in mind, Honorable Speaker, I beg to support the report.
Honorable Dr. Gogo. Dr. Lillian Gogo.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for allowing me to indulge in this matter. And I think those who have spoken ahead of me have well articulated matters NG-CDF. And I must not take a lot of time to belabor the point that NG-CDF has literally changed lives of communities. And apart from many other things that should be done to NG-CDF is that this particular fund should be constitutionalized, because NG-CDF is the main fund that is felt by that very person that is at the ground level. And all the NG-CDF funds are well audited, and I want to thank the member who indicated that there was an amendment that made it to be NG-CDF, that made the role of member of parliament be reduced mainly to an oversight role. And the member of parliament should participate mainly in the oversight committee, the CDF oversight committee, as a member. And we have had many, many castigations of members of parliament when it comes to matters NG-CDF. And it is high time that we told our own story as members of parliament, because if we don't tell our own story as lions, then the hunter is going to get credit for what has happened. But as it were, NG-CDF is literally managed by communities. And NG-CDF has a fund account manager that disburses funds as they work together with the district accountant. So we should have NG-CDF not tampered with in any way. But at the same time, I stand here, Honorable Speaker, to question why there are so many auditors that audit the accounts of NG-CDF. And I've just learned today that we have an auditor from the board, NG-CDF board, and from an auditor from the Auditor General's office. But as I stand from here, there is always an auditor auditing accounts of Rangwe NG-CDF every week. Literally every week there is somebody auditing accounts of NG-CDF. Mara, this one now is from the county. Then we have another one from the sub-county. Then another one has come from Kisumu. Then there is a team from Nairobi. And I think we also get a regional team that goes to audit accounts of Rangwe NG-CDF. So from where I stand, the procedure is very clear on the management of this particular fund. And I want to echo and laud the work that has been, the report that has been given by this committee, Special Funds Committee, and I also want to support their work and highlighting various issues that affect NG-CDF. Honorable Speaker, the way one of my colleagues has said here, that the projects are identified by the community. We have provisions for making roads that go to schools, but when the community wants a bus, and I found that school buses are so close to the hearts of communities, who is the committee to refuse what the community wants? So there are clear procedures for managing this particular fund. I would propose and suggest that the amounts be increased, because previously the 2.5% was obtained from the main fund, but it was reduced to getting 2.5% from what is given to the national government. If we would have a situation, Honorable Speaker, where we have more money allocated to NG-CDF, more work done by NG-CDF, then this noise that goes around the member of parliament, water, member of parliament has not done, health, member of parliament has not done. When it comes to schools, the member of parliament need to do the classrooms. When it comes to security, the member of parliament needs to do it. There is a constituency NG-CDF committee that handles this work. And so many members have also been taken to court on matters that relate to NG-CDF, but are not related with oversight. So, Honorable Speaker, we need your protection when it comes to this. The Commission needs to protect members so that our names don't just keep going up and about courts. You find you're already taken to court on matters that does not even concern you. And when you enter a judicial system, getting out is as hard as giving birth to 2 children at the same time. So I would appeal that we continue doing the good work we are doing with the NG-CDF, Honorable Speaker, and we allocate more money, but we also have this particular fund embedded in the Constitution so that it lives for posterity, and apart from that, it helps more and more people. When it comes to the work of day schools and NG-CDF, most of our pupils and students that go to day schools come from fairly disadvantaged communities. But through NG-CDF, if you buy a bus, they have the same learning advantage as those who go to groups of schools because of NG-CDF. When you use NG-CDF, they are able to use classrooms that are tiled in the middle of nowhere, like the children who go to the group of schools. So I would appreciate the work that has been done by the committee. And
very well. So we go to my left now, since I can see the top three here to my right. So I'll find one here, and they are the way down. That's Honorable Kioni.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for getting me way down. I don't know where way down was, but Mr. Speaker, let me start by saying that
you are number 4.
CDF.
So and the 3 were to my left.
Okay, I need to familiarize myself with your left and right.
Honorable Omboko Milemba, what is it?
Mr. Speaker, you note that they are taking my time.
Take Senior Kioni's time, but in the morning you ruled that because of the spacing now, the mask is a must.
Yeah.
So could the Honorable have his mask? Thank you.
Yes. Well,
Mr. Speaker, he didn't have to take all that time to
yes,
just say that
it's a very serious thing, Honorable Kioni.
And
in
it
fact,
is on.
In fact, I'm surprised that I noticed you at all. Actually, I might use that as, anyway, you are lucky you have already had your floor, otherwise I would not have noticed you at all. But I realize it's because of the multicolor gadget that you have used. But please.
You are not likely to threaten me, Mr. Speaker.
Well,
it's very difficult too.
But
Mr. Speaker, I was going to say
I don't
that
threaten. I take action.
All right, Mr. Speaker, I was going to say that CDF is not a political fad. There is a member who said that a little bit earlier, and when you say that, you feed into the legal exercises that are taking place, and you can arm others who would want to do away with CDF. It is not a political fad, it's a special fad that is meant to bring development to our area. A fad that was introduced way back, I think, in 2003, 2002, thereabout, when members realized that the national government was not having impact in terms of development at the constituency level. And that is why they came up with the CDF, which has had monumental impact in the constituencies, including mine. I can tell you that any constitutional amendment that is on the way through this House or through BBI or any other channel that may want to take away CDF or that does not give prominence to the CDF will likely have difficulties passing. I am encouraged to see that we have a county development fund bill that is before us in complete appreciation that unless we have funds that have been earmarked for development to the smallest unit in this country, there are areas that will never be developed and will continue suffering because the amount of money that is meant for development has been or is always consumed through other areas that are of recurrent nature. And that is what informed the members back in the year 2002 that came up with the CDF. Mr. Speaker, I think it is important to note also that CDF, only 6% of the amount of money that has been sent to the constituency is allowed for recurrent expenditure. Some 3% also for monitoring. But a whole 90%, 91% of the funds go towards development. Mr. Speaker, this is a model that we need to take and pass on to the devolved funds. In fact, there are times I feel like we may want to chop off some money that is taken for devolution and put it in CDF. I mean, it is also another way of devolving funds and development to the people. I know we are all happy about devolution, but the happiness in devolution should come because it is impacting on the people in form of development. And if it is not, we have to look at which are other channels, which are these other ways of bringing around development in our areas that is more effective. And I am saying this as a challenge to county governments. We can see the impact CDF is having. Why is it that we can't see the same impact from county devolved funds? Yet they are receiving billions. This is just 100 million shillings, and the impact is so massive. You cannot believe that a county will receive 5 billion shillings, and you fail to see any amount of impact in your area. Mr. Speaker, I know that in that audit there was the issue of standardization of classrooms and the rest. I want to caution the committee that's a very dangerous route to follow, because factors that affect the cost of development vary from one area to the other. And I think there are many papers that have been written on that, and you can also, but I know you need to audit the cost of that classroom as opposed to trying to look for a way of standardizing the cost of constructing classrooms across. Mr. Speaker, also, there are some areas where you seek for permission to help in the access of education. And in specifically, I'm talking about access roads. When you try to help pupils get to a school, the board is a little reluctant, and I think they need to address that issue in a better way, because it is very crucial in many places. Mr. Speaker, the audit committee, the special facts committee, needs to pay attention to this fact, that the act and the board requires you to put a name or to label the building, and you label it using ordinary paint. I think it is a thing that requires more thinking. The man who was here before me just loved what I had done before, and he actually labeled the buildings to reflect his term. It's the most useless thing that you require constituencies to do. You need to address some of these issues so that it becomes more progressive. Come up with something that is better, and also don't replace the name of the school with the financial year. I mean, you are confusing pupils in the school. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Very well. I will give Honorable Manzo, and kindly members, if we can speak for a few minutes, we'll be able to reach as many members as possible, because I see the interest is a bit high.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I really want to thank the chairman and the Special Funds Committee for a job well done in Kiambu County. And when you look at the recommendations, they reflect some weaknesses which has affected other counties, and there's definitely room for improvement on the NG-CDF board and on the auditors, so that, Mr. Speaker, we can serve the people better. Mr. Speaker, this fund gets very tricky when it is an election time, and a lot of people really want to use every method. It must go clearly to the country that the member of parliament is purely doing oversight, does not participate, and the committees, the local committees which deal with this fund, really also are very careful and are also watched by the people there. And that's why you find that this fund is very difficult when a check has been issued to construct a classroom somewhere, for anyone to steal any money, whether they use a contractor or whether they use a local fundi, and the committee implements itself. And it is clear that it can easily be accounted for, and even can easily be valued. And therefore, when it comes to standardization, I've heard of something to do with the standards. And there are many ways you can look at it. It can be audited, and at the same time, the Ministry of Housing can come up with a standard like the way we did our offices. They had a certain level of standard, and from the little money is given, you could see all CDF national government CDF officers in the country. They came up with very, very good officers at a reasonable cost, and the design was almost the same, Mr. Speaker. So I really want to commend the team, and also say that this is a fund, and its model should be replicated in other methods of making sure that the devolution works. Because, devolution has been there for 7 years now. Averagely, every county has received like 80 billion. But CDF, which is about, at the same time, about 10% of that, you can be able to spot the impact in the constituencies, and you can see how it has worked, and the projects can be seen, and they are of good standards and thoroughly monitored. Finally, I would like to talk about the oversight. There has to be really a team to oversight, because currently what is happening is that although you have the auditors, the development committees are the ones which are oversighting themselves. So it is very important that we have the MP's office is now empowered to do the oversight and to make sure that every little detail is followed. And I'm sure if we do that, if we empower the oversighting, then the reports will be so clear, you not have members of parliament be handed down, probably for a matter they have no responsibility and they are not aware of. And finally, as a lawyer, I would like to tell members that it is very, very important we just keep to our side of oversight, because should there be conflict of interest in any way, then one is likely to be charged and is likely to spoil your politics. CDF alone makes so many members not come back to this house. I really want to support, and I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Very well. Honorable oh, no, let me go the other side. Honorable Melly. Absent. Okay, next to him, Honorable Limo. Absent also?
No.
Okay.
I cannot be absent, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I thank you very much for giving me this chance to contribute to this very, very important report, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, CDF is a household name, Mr. Speaker, and I want to really congratulate the committee for coming up with such a report. Mr. Speaker, I want to say this, that this CDF, especially the CDF Act, has gone through several stages, and I think the last amendment was in 2015, when it was actually changed to NG-CDF, with the aim actually of ensuring that this fund is for the purpose of implementing only projects which are touching on national government functions. The reason for that, Mr. Speaker, is that there was a lot of use and cries from the governors, because then the governors were accusing CDF of implementing projects which belong to counties. But, Mr. Speaker, I want to say it's very sad that since CDF stopped funding projects in water, especially in the villages, projects in early childhood classrooms, projects in health facilities, there have never been any construction, meaningful construction done by the county government, especially in the health sector. In my constituency, Mr. Speaker, and indeed, I know you are my neighbor, Mr. Speaker, and because you cannot speak while you are on the chair, I can actually speak on your behalf that you did very well when you constructed a lot of health centers in your constituency. And myself as a mono, I followed you, Mr. Speaker, and we did very well. But right now, the counties have not even used those facilities. They are not providing medicine and staff to serve the people of Kenya. So, Mr. Speaker, this CDF, when we changed it from CDF to NG-CDF, we now concentrate on education and security. However, the other sectors are suffering. In the 11th Parliament, Mr. Speaker, I remember that many members who were in this house then were actually proposing that the devolution be done in a model looking like CDF. But then there were a lot of noise from the then chair of Council of Governors, our friend Isaac Ruto. Isaac Ruto said these are the agents of anti-devolution. Because we were saying that because we have tried CDF model and is working, we could have actually implemented that and avoided the duplication of national government into county governments, where county governments are very busy forming very big structure, having CSS, they're calling PSS, and yet it is not in the constitution. They are even employing people like chief of staff and all sorts of things. So counties currently, Mr. Speaker, are spending over 80% on recurrent and remaining only with 20%, while CDF is actually spending 90% on development, including money going to Wananchi Direct. So 90% of CDF, it has to go into record, is going to Wananchi Direct. What goes to administration and monitoring is only 9%, to be specific. So, Mr. Speaker, if this country can wake up today and say we want to do reforms, leave alone these reforms, BBI, what? If we want to do real reforms, why don't we reform the structure of county governments? And we return it to a situation where at least 90% goes to Wananchi. That will be meaningful. Mr. Speaker, I want to end by saying this to the National Assembly. The issue of increasing funding to CDF lies in allocation of funding during the budget process. By the way, the NG-CDF Act says at least 2.5% goes to CDF. It doesn't say 2.5%, at least. So you can even put it during allocation of funding here. If we become a house, which we know it is a house of honor, we must allocate more money to CDF and stop the issues of going round. Mr. Speaker, I beg to support. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Very well. Honorable Obara Akinyi, member for Kasipul, Kabondo Kasipul.
Thank you. At least you've got it right. Kabondo Kasipul constituency. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and I too stand to support the report of the committee, and I want to agree with the sentiments of my colleagues.
Order now. Who are these two members? Seated very, the two members there. Is that Honorable? I can't be able to see, but before I see, I think they should observe some social distancing. Okay, proceed.
Mr. Chairman, as I've said, Mr. Speaker, as I've said that I too support the sentiments of my committee, of my colleagues, on the area that the NG-CDF has played a critical role, and we cannot understate. In across almost all constituencies, this is obvious, to the extent that you wonder, as my colleagues have said, what exactly is happening to the money of the county. My colleagues will agree with me that on all problems that face the constituents, the first stop is at the MP's office, and they will ask you things like health. We don't have medicine, we don't have water, we don't have roads, we are looking for fertilizer, and you wonder that maybe we need to do a little more we need to, again, educate our citizens on the critical roles of these offices so that they know that when they want pads and those kind of things, where they're supposed to go. If they're talking of health and all those devolved functions, they know where they're supposed to go. And the office of the MP, what they're supposed to do. That has been a problem in my first year of office. Mr. Speaker, I'll just talk on one area of observation, and that was on the role of the district accountant. Mr. Speaker, while playing my overall oversight role, I have noticed something that actually was picked by the committee on managing the accounts of the NG-CDF. Mr. Speaker, how can a district accountant take 7 months before they even do reconciliation of accounts? How can they take 7 months with making no entry in the vote book? And you wonder, because these are the most basic functions of accounting. And this is happening, so at the end of the year, they have nothing to show the auditors. The issue is, where are these documents? We don't have it, we are still looking for them. Where are these? Because they don't keep records the way they are supposed to. So this is an area that I think the committee should strongly recommend that the board should have their own independent auditors to be not accountants, to be handling the books of accounts for the NG-CDF, even if it means coming together, maybe a few sub-counties together with one accountant to look at their books. Otherwise, I think this is an area where money is lost if we are not careful. And hey, there's so much loud consultation, Mr. Speaker.
Order, members. Actually, there are two. Well, I mean, it can be understood when is the leader of majority consulting, because there are three other groups. One led by Nyandarua and Kirinyaga combined, and another one close by here. Yeah? So please, let's give Honorable Akinyi Obara
Mr. Speaker,
an opportunity to, canvass her issues in peace.
Finally, if I must say that even as we do what we are doing with the NG-CDF, This country must critically look at how money is disbursed to the counties if we are to realize the gains of devolution. There's so much seepage, there's so much wastage that if we are not careful, and I hear now that they want to be allowed to borrow money. I got scared when I heard that, to borrow money. Mr. Speaker, if that happens, I think this country will be completely, strangled with the debts. Thank you very much. I support.
Very well. Honorable Nguna Ngusia.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity given to me.
Okay, so after them, I'll give 2 members from this other side.
Okay, Mr. Speaker, let me congratulate the committee for the good job actually they have done. And Mr. Kathure Honorable Kathure was very eloquent on it and articulative. Mr. Speaker, I have realized actually most of the villages in this country actually, they have never seen any other government fund except CDF, the fund which is given to the constituencies. And I would like to actually laud Honorable Kibaki for bringing up this issue of CDF. Why it not for CDF? Most of the villages will have not even seen anything from the government. So it's acting as a way of equalizing the development and everything in this country. Mr. Speaker, I have realized that from the report, majority of the constituencies actually are experiencing the same challenges and same problems when it comes to issues of CDF. If you look at what has already been raised, like the issue of district accountant, who is actually supposed to authorize every check that is going to leave that office, we share the same problem, and I think it's high time we start engaging them and ensuring that the checks and everything is delivered in time. You will find that the committee has already approved a project. It is taking too long for the district accountant, even a month, to approve that check. And those are some of the issues we need to iron out. The issue of the other things like tenders, actually, when we appoint our committees, it is very important to encourage the board to be fair when it comes to issue of tendering. And I have been surprised in many occasions, people coming, suppliers, contractors, businessmen coming to my office to ask for tenders. But tenders are not given by members of parliament. So I think it's also high time we educate Kenyans on how things are done with the CDF Act and the CDF committee. Mr. Speaker, I have realized that this fund, if properly utilized, actually, we can see a lot of development. But I will give you an example. Some constituencies, when it comes to issues of bursary, you will find a constituent somewhere has got only 3,000 students, while mine has got over 30,000 students schooling in the same constituents, and we are getting the same allocation of bursary. So there's this issue of lack of equalization, and it is high time we also create another fund, apart from the equalization fund we have been talking about in CDF, to ensure constituencies which have got large population, constituencies with highest number of schools, actually don't get discriminated in this issue. If you look at the number of schools I have in my constituencies, over 208 schools, and we are actually being given the same amount with the Stare, which has got only like 7 schools. I think, Mr. Speaker, that is not a fair deal, and we need to look at these issues. Issues of BBI. There's no way, actually, we will talk of Ward Development Fund without Constituency Development Fund, CDF. We need to enhance it, and if it can be implemented, the Ward Development Fund actually can be implemented the way CDF is done, I think we are going to achieve meaningful development. Mr. Speaker, you will see some of the activities which are done by the CDF are so limited. Like the area where I come from, the perennial issues of water shortage is always there, but I can't do anything with that money, and yet I will not be addressing the issues of that community in particular. So with these few remarks, Mr. Speaker, let the CDF actually also perform other activities like water, roads and other things, apart from only security and education. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I support.
Honorable Pukose.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for allowing me to contribute to this report by the Committee on Special Funds Accounts Committee. On the onset, Honorable Speaker, I want to declare that I'm a member of that committee, and I support the report that was done by the committee. Honorable Speaker, when you read the report, you realize that one of the key issues, which in its introductory part, it talks of Section 226, subsection 5 of our Constitution, which, Honorable Speaker, it holds every officer accountable, whether you are in a political office or an administrative office, for any of the, either directly or indirectly, you are able to direct the procurement process, so that even officers, funds managers who have done, who have participated in terms of allocations, they should be able to come and respond to these audit queries. Honorable Speaker, the report covers 3 financial years, 2014, 2013, 2014, 2014, 2015, and 2015, 2016. But when you look at it, Honorable Speaker, we are in a 2019 now, 2020 financial year. The latest audited account by the Auditor General is the 2017-2018. And I think, Honorable Speaker, in our last meeting with the committee, we agreed that we need to cover as much ground as possible now, especially, and we want to thank your office for allowing us to retreat this week to cover all the constituencies in the coastal region. Honorable Speaker, it's important that members are able also to read the audit reports from their constituencies, because when issues are picked by the committee, at times you'll find that members will only be realizing some of these things when they are tabled in the floor here. But it's important that when the majority leader tables the constituency audit reports by the Auditor General, members are able to look at it and see the issues that are happening within their constituencies. Because when you look at this report, Katuntu North, Juja, and Thika, they constructed offices and for the security. And up to the time the report was being done, those offices have not been occupied. Then it begs the question whether public participation was done in terms of identifying those projects, because that is a waste of funds, and yet those are offices that could have been utilized to provide security for people within those areas. So I think it's important that members are able to look at some of these reports. Honorable Speaker, it also talks of stealth checks. When you have stealth checks, I think it's important for members to, and these are checks as a result of bursaries. It's important for members to be able to look at some of these stealth checks, because outside there you have needy students who might miss school, yet you have money that is bursary money as a result of stealth checks that is lying idly within your account, and somebody else could have benefited from this. Honorable Speaker, I think it's also, we would also ask the House that when we look at some of the areas, because at times the honorable members might not be able to realize that there are activities or there are projects which have been done and they might not have been done in a way which should have been done. It is also important that at one stage or another, we are able to support the committee to hold those funds accounts managers or the PMCs or whoever is responsible accountable for some of those projects, so that at the end of the day, the member is able to protect his integrity, so that it does not seem to be that it's the member who has caused loss of public funds. Honorable Speaker, when you look at this report, we're also talking about, which many members have contributed about, the issue of having an accountant to look at the accounts of the constituency. Our committee recommendation is to have an accountant in every constituency, but that can be debatable, so that if we can be able to have even one accountant per 2 constituencies or paired within a county, then I think that can be able to address many of the issues. So with those few remarks, Honorable Speaker, I support.
Member for Tarbaj, I see you, doing some pastoralist activity from one seat to the other. Your card is not working. So the best thing is for you to go back to the seat which you are in. Then I give you that opportunity. Because I know you actually here very early and you made that press. But your card is not working. You'll have to have it done. You can use that one. You see the one which is next to you? Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. And first and foremost, let me congratulate the committee for doing a good job. And the issues which were raised in Kiambu is similar to even my county and my constituency. We cannot overemphasize the impact of CDF in development of the areas, and especially on the choice of security and education. Is a very good, especially on areas like our marginalized areas, which had low enrollment ever in its lifetime. It is doing very good job, and enrollment has increased. Even at the county level, where even though it is not anchored in law, ward-based fund has been put. A lot of improvement or development has been done using this ward-based fund. And it is good, so long as we need to improve on devolution, we need to increase the funding for ward development fund and anchored in law, if the PBI is supposed to come. On the third issue which I want to discuss is on the issue of treasury, where disbursement, payments, and implementation is reduced or delays because one person cannot be found who is supposed to sign the checks. Even where there are institutions, all other institutions, payments are done within themselves. Why can the CDF fund be done the same way? Where we employ even workers, and for people, works officers are employed within the CDF. We need to have, even if it is changing the law, the CDF Act, we need to change the Act such that payments are done internally. I think that's the best way. On one of the colleagues who have said standardization cannot be done because the costs are different. Areas like ours, it takes a long distance even to bring materials. There is not even water in some areas. We even pay payments on security. So we cannot standardize cost and even infrastructure. The weather and of different regions are not the same. We cannot standardize on payments, and we cannot standardize on cost and infrastructure. Thank you. I support the motion.
It is Honorable Akoth Gesa.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for getting my name right. It's Honorable Akoth Gesa, as you say. Mrembo Wasuba. That is the one you forgot. Mr. Speaker, I want to support the report of the committee and agree with the members that CDF has actually changed the landscape of development in the country. And I remember when we were coming up with the new constitution, Honorable Amina Abdallah told me, and she told me that I would one day agree with her. At that time I disagreed with her. And I do agree with her now that what we needed to do was economic devolution and not political devolution. We would not actually have the problems that we are having now between the Senate and governors, because the money would already be in CDF, and we would be disbursing money for building health facilities, building ECDs and every other work that the county government should do. Mr. Speaker, despite the fact that we have significantly much less money than the county governments, For most of us, if you will see that even though we are not doing, the bigger projects that they're supposed to do, you can actually see the work of CDF in every single village. There would be a class, there would be a lab, there would be a dormitory, there would be fencing, there would be water in schools, roads that lead to schools, security in facilities. So, Mr. Speaker, NG-CDF is doing quite a bit of work. The only challenge is that it is very misunderstood. Most people do not know the structure, and I think it will be very, very important that the CDF board does a lot of work of civic education, and the way we can facilitate that for the NG-CDF is as the parliament, we need to put in funds so that that civic education takes effect. A lot of people think that members of parliament are in charge of CDF, and as members have said here, there are a lot of people are actually asking members to give them tenders. And we have project management committees. And CDF is actually one of the funds that is now very, very streamlined, that the role of the MP is almost remote. And MPs may facilitate in terms of getting the public participation so that the public's voice is heard. But in terms of the work, we have PMCs that are actually effecting this work. I was shocked that even as late as yesterday, one of my chiefs who didn't understand what the role of a PMC is, when our CDF was actually going to undertake a project for his own village, he ran away because people have demonized CDF, that they think that if it's called to sit in any PMC, it is something that is very sinister. Fortunately, because the DCC understands, the DCC gave us somebody else to be in the PMC, because sitting in the PMC means that your voice is heard, means that you are the one who actually ensures that the tendering process is done well, means that the building will be done to your standard. The only challenge that I would see, that even as this committee is going around that they should help us in, is talk, I don't think, well, it's actually the committee, because they're the ones who should bring this amendment, that we have an oversight committee that currently earns only 30,000 shillings a year, and yet we are expected to undertake our oversight mandate well. I think sometimes we shoot ourselves in the foot as members of parliament, that if our primary role is ensuring oversight, how can we be oversighting millions worth of projects with 30,000 shillings in a whole year? That means even if you are to divide it, Mr. Speaker, I think we would be spending probably 2,000 shillings in oversight in a year. So that is something that we need to do. Mr. Speaker, there need to be greater oversight from the board of the fund account managers. That you find a lot of challenges and problems that come in CDF are related directly to fund account managers, yet when there's a problem, the first person that is called is the member of parliament. I think at one point, MPs need to go to court to challenge where an MP is dragged in, where there's no direct link between an MP and any lost fund, because it's actually an abuse of the process of law, bringing MPs in things that really do not concern them. Mr. Speaker, I see my time is over and I support.
Honorable Hai Kamizigi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to also contribute. Mr. Speaker, mine will be brief, and
English. Where's the notice? Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion. I won't read all of it. I have to read all of it. Okay, I have to read all of it. Approval of the third basis for revenue allocation among the county governments. That aware that under Article 217 of the Constitution, the Senate, by resolution, is required to determine the basis for allocating among counties the share of national revenue that is annually allocated to the county level of government. Further aware that the Senate mandated the Standing Committee on Finance and Budget to consider the recommendations of the Commission on Revenue Allocation and consulted the Cabinet Secretary responsible for finance and the Council of Governors, among others, and subsequently conducted public participation pursuant to Article 118(1)(b) of the Constitution, as documented in the report tabled in the Senate on Monday, the 13th of July, 2020, cognizant that the matter of the third basis for allocating among the counties the share of national revenue that is annually allocated to the county level of government has evoked robust debate in the Senate and in the nation at large, leading to a series of consensus-building initiatives. Now, therefore, the Senate resolves that pursuant to Article 217(1) of the Constitution, the third basis for allocating among the counties the share of national revenue that is annually allocated to the county level of government for the financial years 2020-2021 to 2024-2025 shall consist of the allocation ratio and the formula where 1. The allocation ratio shall be equals to the shareable revenue allocated to the counties in the financial year 2019-2020, and 2. The formula of 18% population index, 17% health index, 10% agriculture index, 5% urban index, 14% poverty index, 8% land allocation, land area index, capped at 7%, no square root, 8% roads index, and 20% basic share index, where health services is a health index, health facility gaps are 20%, 3 years average number of primary health care visits to level 2 and 3 health facilities, 60% and 3 years average inpatient days in level 4 and 5 hospitals, 20%. And the facility gap factor is the ratio of the facility gap in each county divided by the total facility gap in the country. Primary health care factor is the number of primary health care visits in your county over the total in the country. Inpatient days factor as well is number of inpatient days in your county over the total. Agriculture services, where the agricultural index is 0.005 by the minimum share index plus 0.095 of the ratio of rural households in your county over the total number of rural households in the country. Other county services, where the population index is simply your county's population over the population of the country, 47 million. Minimum share, which is the basic share index, meaning that 19% of the equal share index plus 0.01%, the inverse population of a county over the total inverse population of the 47 counties in summation, meaning the country of Kenya. Land, where the land area index is the land area in your county, county I, over the summation of the land area in 47 counties, which is 583,000 square kilometers of Kenya. the roads index, which is the rural access index in County I over the summation of rural access index in all counties of Kenya, the poverty index, which is the number of poor people in your county, County I, over the total summation of the number of poor people in the country, as indicated. An urban index, urban service, urban index is the urban households in your county over the total summation of urban households in the Republic of Kenya. Further, the Senate resolves that the third basis for allocating among the counties the share of national revenue that is annually allocated to the county level of government for the financial years 2020-2021 to 2024-2025 shall be applied as follows. A, equitable share for 2020-2021, the county allocation will be equal to the allocation ratio, which is 2019-2020, plus 0 by the formula, meaning each county shall get exactly what they got. B, equitable share for 2021-2022 to 2024-2025 of 370 billion. Mr. Speaker, I'm not sure if senators have heard. Of 370 billion and above, county allocation will be 0.5, which is 50% of the 1920 allocation ratio, plus the difference of whatever remains above, equitable share, minus 0.5 allocation ratio by the formula as stipulated above, provided that for the duration of the operation of the third basis for allocating revenue among the counties, no county shall receive in any financial year an amount of shareable revenue that is less than the amount of shareable revenue received by the county in the financial year 2019-2020. Further, the Senate resolves that pursuant to Article 217(2)(b) of the Constitution, the Commission on Revenue Allocation, CRA, takes account the resolution of the Senate on the third basis for revenue allocation and the debate thereon, and further take into account additional factors including pastoralism, the livestock sector, the blue economy, the extractive industries, and wildlife and conservation in determining principles and parameters of equitable sharing of national revenue among the counties moving forward. The simulation is as in the order paper. There is no way I can read the entire simulation. Mr. Speaker, I beg to give notice of motion. Thank you.
Next order. Okay, honorable members, so I'm just allowing the reading of this order number 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, which will take about 2 minutes. Okay, clerk.
Order number 8, the Basic Education Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 10 of 2020, first reading. A bill for an act of parliament to amend the Basic Education Act and for connected purposes. Order number 9, the Kenya Citizenship and Immigration Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 12 of 2020, first reading. A bill for an act of parliament to amend the Kenya Citizenship and Immigration Act and for connected purposes. Order number 10, the Copyright Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 13 of 2020, first reading. A bill for an act of parliament to amend the Copyright Act and for connected purposes. Order number 11, the County Vocational Education and Training Bill, Senate Bills number 14 of 2020, first reading. A bill for an act of parliament to provide a framework for the establishment of systems for the administration of training in vocational education and training within a county and for connected purposes. Order number 12, the Persons with Disabilities Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 15 of 2020, a bill for an act of parliament to amend the Persons with Disabilities Act to provide for the functions of the national government and the county governments and for connected purposes. Order number 13, motion, approval of the third basis for revenue allocation among the county governments.
Senator Wetangula.
What did he say? Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to move the following motion. Motion on approval of the third basis for revenue allocation among the county governments. That are aware that under Article 217 of the Constitution, the Senate by resolution is required to determine the basis for allocation among the counties, the share of national revenue that is annually allocated to the county level of government. Further aware that the Senate mandated the Standing Committee on Finance and Budget to consider the recommendations of the Commission on Revenue Allocation and consulted the Cabinet Secretary responsible for finance and the Council of Governors, among others, and subsequently conducted public participation pursuant to Article 118(1)(b) of the Constitution, as documented in the report tabled in the Senate on Monday, 13th July 2020, cognizant that the matter of the third basis for allocating among the counties the share of national revenue that is annually allocated to the county level of government has evoked robust debate in the Senate and in the nation at large, leading to a series of consensus-building initiatives. Now, therefore, the Senate resolves that pursuant to Article 217(1) of the Constitution, the third basis for allocating among the counties the share of national revenue that is annually allocated to the county level of government for the financial years 2020-2021 to 2024-2025 shall consist of the allocation ratio and the formula where 1. Allocation ratio, the shareable revenue allocated to the counties in the financial year 2019-2020. 2. Formula, 18% population index, 17% health index, 10% agriculture index, 5% urban index, 14% poverty index, 8% land area index capped at 7%, 8% road index, and 20% basic share index, where health services, health index as set out in the index paragraph, facility gap as set out, perimeter health, primary health care factor as set out, inpatient days factor as set out, agriculture index as set out, population index as set out, basic share index as set out, land area index as set out, roads index as set out, poverty index as set out, and urban index as set out. Further, the Senate resolves that the third basis for allocating among the counties the share of national revenue that is annually allocated to the county level of government for the financial years 2020-2021 to 2024-2025 shall be applied as follows. A, equitable share for 2020-2021, count allocation equal to allocation ratio, which is 2019-2020 allocation. B, equitable share for 2021-22 to 2024-25 of Kenya shillings 370 billion and above, count allocation equal to 5% allocation ratio plus equitable share, 50% allocation ratio plus equitable share of 50% allocation ratio according to the formula, provided that for the duration of the operation of the third basis for allocating revenue among the counties, no county shall receive in any financial year an amount of shareable revenue that is less than the amount of shareable revenue received by the county in the financial year 2019-2020. Further, the Senate resolves that pursuant to Article 217(2)(b) of the Constitution, the Commission on Revenue Allocation takes to account the resolution of the Senate on the third basis for the revenue allocation and the debate thereon, and further take into account additional factors including pastoralism, the livestock sector, the blue economy, the extractive industries, wildlife and conservation, in determining principles and parameters of equitable sharing of national revenue among the counties. Mr. Speaker, honorable senators, this is a matter that has been canvassed for a very long time. We need not belabor the point. The motion is as clear as it is. I forgot, sorry, Mr. Speaker. There is an allocation table that is attached to the motion, which members can read from their order paper. Mr. Speaker, I beg to move, and in so moving, I want to table the report of the Committee of 12 so that it becomes part of the record of this debate and this House. And for the record, Mr. Speaker, allow me to acknowledge the members of the Committee of 12, Senator Moses Wetangula, EGH MP, Senator Johnson Sakaja, CBS MP, as co-conveners, Senator Engineer Mohamud Mohammed, CBS MP, Senator Stewart Matsayo, CBS MP, Senator Kipchumba Murkomen, EGH MP, Senator Mutula Kilonzo Jr. MP, Senator Samson Cherargei MP, Senator Moses Kajwang MP, Senator Susan Kehika MP, Senator Anwar Loitiptip MP, Senator John Kinyuanderitu MP, and lastly, Senator Ledama Olekina MP. Mr. Speaker, I beg to lay the report, to table the report of the committee. Mr. Speaker, without much ado, I just want to thank the House for giving the Committee of 12 an opportunity and the confidence and the trust for the committee to labor for the last 17 sittings of the committee to come up with this formula. This formula, Mr. Speaker, brings to rest a long, protracted, winding, noisy debate in the House. Noisy and messy debate in the country, Mr. Speaker, that has now come to an abrupt end. This House has risen to the billing as the defender of counties, and in so doing, Mr. Speaker, we are giving the country a formula that will work. Last but not least, Mr. Speaker, I want to salute the head of state and the leadership of the House, and the House as a whole, that the protracted process that we took has been able to bring on the table of our counties an additional 53.5 billion. So it has not been in vain, Mr. Speaker. It has borne fruit. And I want to encourage this House to remain steady, to remain steadfast, and to be the last line of defense of the doctrine and tenets of devolution in this country. I wish now, Mr. Speaker, to invite I beg to move and invite my distinguished nephew, the Senator for Nairobi and co-convener, to second.
Have I heard someone saying, rebel in chief? No, I am not a rebel. Not at all. Mr. Speaker, I beg to second this motion and associate myself with the remarks by my distinguished uncle, Senator Wetangula Masika Moses on this formula. Mr. Speaker, we agreed earlier that members want to vote, and thereafter we shall make remarks. And Mr. Speaker, as I second, I want to just mention, because I hope that then you will give me the first or the second bite of the cherry to explain this journey and consensus and solution for Kenya and victory for the Senate, not for any side, but for the country and people of Kenya and for devolution. As I second, Mr. Speaker, I beg to second and I beg to ask, as earlier directed, that you propose the question and immediately put the question so that we vote and then we can discuss this, Mr. Speaker, and explain to Kenyans what we've been able to do. With that, Mr. Speaker, I beg to second. Thank you.
Okay, honorable senators, I propose the question, which is that aware that under Article 217 of the Constitution, the Senate by resolution is required to determine the basis for allocating among counties the share of national revenue that is annually allocated to the county level of government. Further aware that the Senate mandated the Standing Committee on Finance and Budget to consider the recommendations of the Commission on Revenue Allocation and consulted the Cabinet Secretary responsible for finance and the Council of Governors, among others, and subsequently conducted public participation pursuant to Article 118(1)(b) of the Constitution as documented in the report tabled in the Senate on Monday, 13th July 2020. Cognizant that the matter of the third basis for allocating among counties their share of national revenue that is annually allocated to the county level of government has evoked robust debate in the Senate and in the nation at large, leading to the series of consensus-building initiatives. Now, therefore, the Senate resolves that pursuant to Article 217(1) of the Constitution, the third basis for allocating among the counties the share of national revenue that is annually allocated to the county level of government for the financial year 2020-2021 to 2024-2025 shall consist of the allocation ratio and the formula where allocation ratio, the shareable revenue allocated to the counties in the financial year 2019-2020, formula 018 population index, 017 health, 10 agriculture, urban index 005, poverty 008, land area index 008, roads 020, bear share index. Or basic share index, where the table is very long and I don't think in the interest of time, are set out in the table. Further, the Senate resolves that the third basis for allocating among the counties the share of national revenue that's annually allocated to the county level of government for the financial year 2020-2021 to 2024-2025 shall be applied as follows. A, equitable share for 2020-21, county allocation ratio, zero formula. B, equitable share for 2021-2022 to 2024-25 of Kenya shillings 370 billion and above, county allocation 0.5 allocation ratio, plus equitable share 0.5 allocation ratio formula, provided that the duration of the operation of the third basis for allocating revenue among the counties, no county shall receive in any financial year an amount of shareable revenue that is less than the amount of shareable revenue received by the county in the financial year 2019-2020. Further, the Senate resolves, they're saying tell them. Further, the Senate resolves that pursuant to Article 2017(2)(b) of the Constitution, the Commission on Revenue Allocation takes to account the resolution of the Senate on the third basis for revenue allocation and the debate thereon, and further take into account additional factors including pastoralism, the livestock sector, the blue economy, the extractive industries, and wildlife and conservation in determining principles and parameters of equitable sharing of national revenue among the counties. It concerns counties, and therefore you are going to vote as delegations. I now put the question, which is that aware that Article 217 of the Constitution, the Senate by resolution is required to determine the basis for allocating among the counties the share of national revenue that is annually located at the county level of government. Further aware that the Senate mandated the Steering Committee on Finance and Budget to consider the recommendations of the Commission on Revenue Allocation and consulted the Cabinet Secretary responsible for Finance and Accounts of Governance, among others, and subsequently conducted public participation pursuant to Article 118(1)(b) of the Constitution as documented in the report tabled in the Senate on Monday, 13th July 2020. Cognizant that the matter of the third basis for allocating among counties the share of national revenue that is annually allocated to the county level of government has evoked robust debate in the Senate and in the nation at large, leading to a series of consensus-building initiatives. Now, therefore, the Senate resolves that pursuant to Article 2017(1) of the Constitution, the third basis for allocating among the counties the share of national revenue that is annually allocated to the county level of government for the financial year 2020-2021 and 2024-2025 shall consist of the allocation ratio and the formula where 1, allocation ratio, the shareable revenue allocated to the counties in the financial year 2019-2020, formula 18, population index, 17, health, 10, agriculture, 0, urban index, poverty, 8, land index, 8, road index, 20, basic share index, where the rest are set out in the table. Further, that the Senate resolves that the third basis for allocating among the counties that share of national revenue that is annually allocated to the county level of government for the financial year 2020-2021 to 2024-2025 shall be applied as follows. A, equitable share for 2020-2021, county allocation equals to allocation ratio plus 0 formula. B, equitable share for 2021, 2022, 2024, 2025 of 370 billion and above, county allocation equals to 0.5 allocation ratio plus equitable share of 0.5 allocation ratio formula. Provided that for the duration of the operation of the third basis for allocating revenue among the counties, no county shall receive in any financial year an amount of shareable revenue that is less than the amount of a shareable revenue received by the county in the financial year 2019-2020. Further, that the Senate resolves that pursuant to Article 217(2)(b) of the Constitution, the Commission on Revenue Allocation takes to account the resolution of the Senate on the third basis for revenue allocation and the debate thereon, and further take into action additional factors including pastoralism, the livestock sector, the blue economy, the extractive industries, and wildlife and conservation in determining principles and parameters of equitable share of national revenue among the counties. I now order that the bell be rung for 1 minute. No. Counties.
On a report by the committee established to consider the matter of the third basis for allocation among the counties, the share of the national revenue. The committee convened by the Senator for Bungoma County and co-convened by Senator Johnson Sakaja of Nairobi County did draft a report, and that particular report is providing a way forward on this impasse that has been blamed on cash crunch in the counties. The Article 217.
I now direct that the bus be drawn.
Article 217, subsection 1 of the Constitution of Kenya provides that once every 5 years, the Senate shall by resolution determine the basis for allocation among the counties, the share of national revenue that is annually allocated to the county level of government. In order to facilitate the workings of the Senate.
Okay, because of logistics, I think you will have to draw the bar so that those outside can also be able to vote. Yeah. Open.
In order to facilitate the workings of the Senate, Article 216.
You can draw the yeah. The teller for the ayes and the teller for the no. Just for purposes for the avoidance of doubt, it's good to have, there could be a no. So let's have Kasanga is for yes. Senator, Kasanga, I'm told, has been pronounced. You can be for no. Okay. Order, senators. Okay, we can begin.
So, motion for the approval of the third basis for revenue allocation among the county governments, division. Roll call. Senator Adan Dulo Fatuma, Isiolo County.
I vote yes.
Senator Ali Abdullahi Ibrahim, Wajir County.
I vote a big yes.
Senator Boy Issa Juma, Kwale County.
Kwale County vote yes.
Senator Cherarke Samson Kiprotich, Nandi County.
I, Cherargei Kiprotich Samson, in the spirit of Koitalel Arab Samoe, and getting additional 1.6 billion to Nandi County, I vote a resounding yes.
Senator Cheriot Aaron Kipkirui, Kericho County.
Kericho votes yes.
Senator Haji Mohamed Yusuf, Garissa County.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I vote big yes.
Senator Hagura Godana, Marsabit County.
Mr. Speaker, I vote yes.
Senator Imana Malakai Charles Ekal, Turkana County. Senator Kabaka Boniface Mutinda, Machakos County.
Machakos, which stood with solidarity of Kenyans, and Ukambani, I vote a big yes.
Senator Kajwang Moses Otieno, Homa Bay County.
Homa Bay County votes yes.
Senator Kamar Margaret Jepkoech, Uasin Gishu County.
Wasingishu votes yes.
Senator Kangata Irongo, Moranga County.
Yeah, Muranga gains 800 million. I vote yes.
Senator Haniri George, Vihiga County.
Mr. Speaker, so for Vihiga, it's an emphatic yes.
Senator Kibiru Charles Rubenson, Kirinyaga County.
Speaker, hata kama soko imekwisha, I vote yes.
Senator Kihika Susan Wakarura, Nakuru County.
Mr. Speaker, with Nakuru County gaining 2.5 billion, I definitely vote yes.
Senator Kimani Wamatangi Paul, Kiambu County.
Mheshimiwa Spika, kwa watu wa Kiambu na vile ambavyo nimewapigania pamoja na seneta, na sasa tunapata bilioni 2, nasema ndio. Asante.
Senator Kindiki Kithure, Tharaka Nithi County.
Mr. Speaker, on behalf of Tharaka Nithi County, I vote yes.
Senator Kirenyaga Ephraim Mwangi, Maina, Nyeri County. Okay.
Mr. Speaker, I vote yes, and for the prosperity of Kenya.
Senator Langat Christopher Andrew, yes. Bomet County.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, sir, on behalf of the great people of Bomet, who stood with me during that particular moment when we were struggling for this, and now Bomet is gaining 1.184 billion. I therefore vote great yes.
Senator Lelegwel Tumbesi, Samburu County.
I, Dr. Lelegwel Tumbesi, Senator for the great people of Samburu County, now gaining 750 million votes yes.
Senator Linturi Franklin Mithika, Meru County. Senator Loitiptip Anwar, Lamu County.
The son of a DJ, the DJ is...
I, the Senator of Lamu County, together with the great people of Lamu for the willing of devolution, together with my internal and external organs, I vote yes.
Senator Mazayo Stewart Mwachiru, Kilifi County.
What's your point of order, Senator Orengo?
Mr. Speaker, the Senator of Lamu has a very interesting way of voting that I, with my internal and external organs. Does it mean that in the future we'll have to have a clarification every time he votes? Which part of the organs are voting?
I think next time we'll include others that are not external. Let's proceed.
Shukran, Bwana Spika. Bwana Spika, kwa niaba ya wananchi wa Kilifi wanaoangalia runinga saa hii, wakati huu historia ikifanywa, mimi Stewart Madzayo napiga kura yao ya ndio.
Senator Mahamud Mohamed Maalim, Mandera County.
Mr. Speaker, sir, this is really a great day. On behalf of the great people of Mandera, I vote yes. Thank you.
Senator Malala Cleophas Wahungu, Kakamega County.
Mr. Speaker, for a united Kenya, and now that Kakamega County is gaining 1.976 billion, I, Cleophas Wahungu Malala, son of David Major Malala, on behalf of Kakamega County, do hereby vote yes.
Senator Mbito Michael Malinga, Trans Nzoia County. Senator Mbogo George Ochilo Ayako, Migori County.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I, Ochilo Mbogo Ayako George, on behalf of the good people of Migori, and grateful for 1.2 billion that we have received, I vote yes.
Senator Mogeni Eric Okongo, Nyamira County.
Mr. Speaker, sir, having gone to battle on behalf of the great people of the county of Nyamira, and having saved them a loss of 545 million, and having saved the entire Omogusi nation a loss of more than 600 million, and now going back home with 1.432 billion to the Omogusi nation, vote yes.
Senator Moi Gideon Kipsiele Toet, Baringo County. Senator Mpayei Philip Salau, Kajiado County. Senator Murkomen Onesimus Kipchumba, Elgeyo Marakwet County.
Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the great people of Elgeyo Marakwet County and for a united nation called Kenya, and on behalf of all people who believe in equity in this great republic, I vote a great yes.
Senator Mutula Kilonzo Jr., Makueni County.
On behalf of the people of Makueni, and in the spirit of leaving no county behind, and for a united Kenya, and for Team Kenya, and for 726 million shillings, I vote yes.
Senator Mwangi Paul Githiomi, Nyandarua County.
Mr. Speaker, sir, for the sake of expecting development in Nyandarua, and for the sake of expecting good roads to be constructed in Nyandarua County, I, Paul Githiomi, vote yes.
Senator Mwaruma Jones Mwashushe, Taita Taveta County.
Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the great people of Taita Taveta, whom I saved from loss of 400 million to gaining 600 million, I vote yes.
Senator Mwinyi Haji Mohamed Faki, Mombasa County.
Mheshimiwa Spika, kwa niaba ya watu wa Mombasa na kwa niaba ya Kenya nzima napiga yes.
Senator Nderito John Kinyua, Laikipia County.
Kwa niaba ya watu wa kaunti ya Laikipia, na kwa sababu hela za Laikipia zimeongezeka kwa milioni 958, mimi kwa niaba ya ndugu zangu wote wa hapo Laikipia napiga ndio.
Senator Ndwiga Peter Njero, Embu County. Senator Olekina Ledama, Narok County.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I, Ledama Olekina, son of Midangayu, who is a son of Tata, a son of my son, and for the great people of Narok County, who are losing 853 million. And now we have converted it to a gain of 805 million. I vote yes.
Senator Ongeri Samson Kegengo, Kisii County.
Mr. Speaker, last time I said for a united Kenya and for bringing the whole nation together through... No, let me put it, and for a united Kenya and bringing the nation together through BBI, I now proudly vote yes, because Kisii is gaining 1.1 billion.
Senator Orengo James, Siaya County.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I vote yes.
Senator Outa Frederick Otieno, Kisumu County.
Mr. Speaker, with Kisumu County joining the League of Billionaires at 1.189 billion, on behalf of the Kisumu County and the Kisumu City, I, Frederick Otieno Outa, aka Nyarwath, I vote yes.
Senator Pogisio Samuel Losuron, West Pokot County.
Mr. Speaker, I vote yes.
Senator Sakaja Johnson Arthur, Nairobi County.
Mr. Speaker, in accordance to the Constitution, I have consulted the delegation of Nairobi with Senator Millicent Omanga, Senator Faria. Others were not available for comment. Senator Kasanga, because Nairobi believes there is no Kenya A and Kenya B, we vote yes.
Senator Wako Situila Amos, Busia County.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I, Situila Amos Wako, son of Daniel and grandson of Wasirongo, on behalf of the people and the county of Busia, which has now left the club of millionaires and joined the club of billionaires. I vote yes and ask the county government to use what we have struggled to get for them in a very transparent and accountable manner. Yes.
Senator Wambua Enoch Kio, Kitui County.
Mr. Speaker, I, Enoch Kio Wambua, son of Pastor Peter Wambua Mamuli, for and on behalf of the great people of Kitui County, who were supposed to be losing 500 million Kenya shillings, but now they have gained 1.563 billion Kenya shillings. And on behalf of the great people of Machakos, who have gained 1.4 billion Kenya shillings, and the people of Makueni, who have gained 700 million Kenya shillings, the people of Kitui, Mr. Speaker, vote yes.
Senator Wario Golich Juma, Tana River County.
Mr. Speaker, mimi Senator Juma Wario lalafa uta disa jejitia jelata gumitutwa. On behalf of the great people of Tana River County, I was to lose 600 million, and now recovered the 600 million and gained another 600 million. Therefore, on behalf of Tana River County, I vote yes.
Yes, Senator Kabaka, what's your intervention? Okay. Okay. Okay.
Senator
Speaker. Order. 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 You can read the mood of the House.
Senator Wetangula Moses Masika, Bungoma County.
Mr. Speaker, sir, on my own behalf and on your behalf, as my constituent in Bungoma, I, Moses Francis Masika Wetangula, son of Dominic and great son of Emmanuel, on behalf of the people I represent, I vote emphatically yes for 1.76 billion.
Senator Imana Malakai, Senator Imana Malakai Charles Ekal, Turkana County. Senator Linturi Franklin Mithika, Meru County. Senator Mbito Michael Malinga, Trans Nzoia County. Senator Moi Gideon Kipsielei Towet, Baringo County. Senator Mpayei Philip Salao, Kajiado County. Senator Ndwiga Peter Njeru, Embu County.
You're watching live proceedings of the Senate this evening of 17th September 2020, where the senators I've concluded voting exercise on the report by the committee established to consider the matter of the third basis for allocation among the counties, the share of national revenue. The committee did draw some recommendations, and in its report it did indicate that at its meetings held on 17th September 2020, the committee deliberated on the third basis for revenue allocation and recommended the following as the third basis for revenue allocation among counties for the financial years 2020, 2021 to 2024, 2025, which shall consist of the allocation ratio and the formula, where allocation ratio equals the shareable revenue allocated to the counties in the financial year 2019-2020. Formula equals 0.18 for population index, 0.17 for health index, 0.10 for agriculture index, 0.05 for urban index, 0.14 for poverty index, 0.08 for land area index, 0.08 for roads index, and 0.20 for basic share index. In its recommendation, the committee did indicate that provided that for the duration of the operation of the third basis for allocating revenue among the counties, no county shall receive in any financial year an amount of shareable revenue that is less than the amount of shareable revenue received by the county in the financial year 2019-2020.
Okay, order, members, take your seats. Okay, order, senators, take your seats. Okay, honorable senators, Amos, son of, take your seat. Son of someone. Son of someone. I was Hongo, I remember. So, honorable senators, the results are as follows. Abstentions 0, nays 0, ayes 41. The ayes have it. Now, honorable senators, for the convenience of the House, I want to amend the order so that we also deal with the CARA, and then comments will be made together for both, because they are all matters dealing with finance. So, order number 14, clerk. Yes, Senator Haneri.
Mr. Speaker, I rise pursuant to the provisions of our standing order, and in particular standing order number 31, paragraph 3A. Realize, Mr. Speaker, we have only 45 minutes to adjournment of the House. Mr. Speaker, our standing orders are that if you are to extend, you have to raise the motion before 30 minutes to the time. I therefore raise pursuant to the provision of that standing order, and the Senate resolves and move that the Senate resolves to extend its sitting until the conclusion of business listed in the order as number 13, number 14, and number 15 in the supplementary order paper. Deputy Speaker, can you second?
Mr. Speaker, I second.
Okay. Honorable Senators, I propose a question which is that pursuant to Standing Order 31.3a, the Senate resolves to extend its sitting until the conclusion of business listed in Order number 13, 14, and 15 in the supplementary order paper. I now put the question, which is that pursuant to Standing Order number 31.3a, the Senate resolves to extend its sitting until the conclusion of business listed in Order number 13, 14, and 15 in the supplementary order paper. As manner of that opinion, say aye. As a manner of a contrary view, say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk.
Order number 14, the County Allocation of Revenue Bill, Senate Bills number 7 of 2020, second reading.
Yes, Senator Orengo.
Since the bill had been moved and seconded, and essentially CARA and the formula are related, will I be in order, Mr. Speaker, to ask you to call upon the mover to reply? Then we vote, and then the comments will be made together.
The records we have are different, because they indicate that the mover had only spoken for 3 minutes. And Speaker has ruled that the move be suspended pending the meeting with CRA on the formula for the third basis of revenue allocation. So you move. Yes, Senator Murkomen.
In that regard, Mr. Speaker, it means the motion was not moved. And will I be in order then to request the mover to move it as amended, so that, Mr. Speaker, since it had not been moved, we move it as amended. We don't have to go through all these other amendments that are in the order paper. He moves it together with the amendments. And I think that is in order within the standing orders.
This is second reading. Okay, Chair, the new chairman. Can you move it?
But it is 20 pages. Mr. Speaker, I beg to move the following motion. The county allocation of revenue, Senate Bill number 7 of 2020. Mr. Speaker, the amendments are there. The County Allocation Revenue Senate Bill number 7 of 2020 is prepared in accordance with the Article 217 and Article 218 1B of the Constitution. The bill guarantees the county governments their respective share of revenue lays nationally.
Can you move so that the bill be read a second time first?
Oh.
For that, no.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill be read a second time. And Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, the annual allocation to counties is based on the provision of the Division of Revenue Act, DOLA, as required by Section 191.3 of the Public Finance Management Act 2012. The Division of Revenue Act 2020 gives a total allocation of Kenya shillings 369.8 billion to county governments for the financial year 2020-2021. The allocation of Kenya shillings 369.8 billion is aggregate of the following: equitable share of Kenya shillings 316.5 billion, as set out in the first schedule of the bill. Conditional allocation from national government share of revenue of Kenya shillings 23.16 billion as indicated in the second schedule. And third, conditional allocation to loans and grants from development partners of Kenya shillings 30.2 billion as indicated in the third schedule. Mr. Speaker, the first schedule of the bill sets the allocation of each county government's equitable share of revenue raised nationally in the financial year 2020-2021. The second schedule of the bill, Mr. Speaker, sets out the 6 conditions allocation for the counties from the share of national government revenue for year 2020-2021. This constitutes total of 23.1 billion, including 9 billion from the Roads Maintenance Levy Board fund. The 6 conditional allocations to the county government are leasing of medical equipment of Kenya shillings 6.205 billion, which has increased to Kenya shillings 6.2 billion allocated in 2019-2020. Level 5 hospitals of Kenya shillings 4.33 billion. Compensation for user fee forgone of Kenya shillings 900 million. Rehabilitation of youth polytechnics of Kenya shillings 2 billion. Supplementary for construction of county headquarters, 5 counties, Kenya shillings 300 million, which has decreased from Kenya shillings 485 million allocated in the financial year 2019-2020. Road maintenance fuel levy funds, Kenya shillings 9.43, which has increased from the allocation of Kenya shillings 8.98 billion in the financial year 2019-2020. The increase is attributable to higher projected revenues from the fuel levy in the financial year 2020-2021. Mr. Speaker, the second schedule with respect to conditional grants, to conditional allocations to county governments from loans and grants from development partners during the financial year 2020-21. The National Treasury is a signatory to the financing agreement with development partners. During the year 2020-21, the total additional conditional allocations from the development partners amounts to Kenya shillings 30.2 billion, which is a decrease from the allocation of 39.09 billion allocated in the year 2019-2020. Mr. Speaker, the conditional allocations from the development partners are as follows. IDA, Kenya Devolution Support Program, KDSP, Level 1, Kenya shillings 2.115 billion. Transfer of health services for universal health care, Universal Care Project, 4.345 billion. Danida, Universal Health for Devolved System Program, 900 million. National Agriculture and Rural Inclusive Growth Project, NAGLIP, 4.261 billion. AU Instruments for Devolution Advice and Support, ideas, Kenya shillings 216. ID World Bank, Kenya Climate Smart Agriculture Project, Kenya shillings 7.119 billion. World Bank Kenya Urban Support Program, UDG, Kenya shillings 6.366 billion. Water and Sanitation Development Projects, 3.4 billion Kenya shillings. Sweden Agriculture Sector Program, Program 2, Kenya shillings 652.584 million Kenya million. AU Water Tower Protection and Climate Change Mitigation Adaptation Program, Kenya shillings 528 million. Drought Resilience Program in Northern Kenya, Kenya shillings 300 million. Mr. Speaker, the fourth schedule is on the budget settings on recurrent expenditure of county executives and county assemblies for the financial year 2021. Aware that the county equitable share for the financial year 2020-21 remained the same as equitable share allocation for the year financial year 2019-2020, it is proposed that recurrent expenditure ceilings remain the same. Mr. Speaker, it is important for the House to note that the equitable share allocation provided in the bill are based on second basis for sharing national revenue among counties. Having approved that basis, it is proposed that the first schedule of the bill be amended to reflect county allocation based on that basis. Mr. Speaker, pursuant to Article 187(2) of the Constitution and Gazette Notice number 1609 of 25th February 2020, some functions of the Nairobi City County, as set out in Part 2 of the 4th Schedule of the Constitution, were transferred to national government. Article 187(2)(a) of the Constitution requires that arrangement be put in place to ensure resources necessary to undertake or perform the functions transferred are provided. Article 219 of the Constitution provides that county's share of revenue raised by the national government shall be transferred to the county without undue delay and without deduction except when the transfer has been stopped under Article 225. It is therefore important for the bill to clarify on how matters concerning transfer of functions from the county government to national government would be dealt with. In line with the provisions, with the above provisions, the committee proposed amendment to Clause 7 of the bill, which currently provides that where a county government has transferred function to national government pursuant to Article 187 of the Constitution, what do I do? How? Mr. Speaker, in the interest of time, as stated in the order paper, those are the amendments that we have recommended. And Mr. Speaker, these provisions are intended to ensure the transferred functions are appropriately funded from the respective county government budgets through the implementation of programs under such functions is under national government. Mr. Speaker, I beg to move and request Chilo, my distinguished brother from Migori, to second the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, protect me from Kangata. I am the vice chair and he cannot lord it over me. Now, Mr. Speaker, I want to thank the Committee for Finance and Budget, and I also want to thank colleague senators for the good work that they have done, and I want to appreciate my able chair for moving this bill. Mr. Speaker, we have had discussions to the extent that we are nearly exhausted on matters finance. I just want to say a few things by way of seconding, and I hope all of us will be in support of this bill. Mr. Speaker, a politician in my backyard is now deceased, once said that in order for conception to take place, in order for pregnancy to take place, there must be physical and robust engagement of man and woman. Mr. Speaker, that engagement is the engagement that leads to conception, and all of us were conceived that way. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to say that this bill has been preceded by that kind of engagement. This House and the nation has engaged robustly. Some people were apprehensive that that engagement would tear the nation apart. I am happy, and so are my colleagues, that out of that engagement, a healthy child has been born, and you can see every person claiming parentage to that child. I think that is a wonderful thing. Many people have called us names, but those people have nothing to show for the success we have today. Some of them are waiting for this money, which they have not fought for, but do not want to come to this house to account. I do not want to mention them. I just want them to appreciate the fact that it is this robust engagement that has led to the monies that they are expecting to utilize. I hope they utilize that money well. And Mr. Speaker, I want to say that the amendments that are being proposed are also healthy amendments that would be able to have the monies released to the counties in time. One of the proposed issues is to enjoin Treasury and the controller of budget to release monies to counties in a timely way and to ensure that counties are not starved of funds. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to lastly thank members of this Senate for that kind of engagement. It caught the attention of everybody, including the People's President and the President of the Republic of Kenya. And when Senate and its leadership met in that house, everything good came out of it, and I'm happy to be associated with what has come out of it. I want to conclude, because the mood of the House is that we dispense and dispatch money to counties so that the Council of Gangsters do not continue with their gangsterism. So, Mr. Speaker, I propose and I want to second that we do so. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
You second, not propose.
I want to propose and second, Mr. Speaker. I'm doing both.
You,
no,
that's not your word.
Semantics.
No, don't get into semantics that will mislead the House. Just for the record.
Mr. Speaker, I stand advised and I second. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the honor and correction.
Honorable Senators, I now propose the question, which is that the County Allocation of Revenue Bill, Senate Bills number 7 of 2020, be read a second time. I put the question, which is that the County Allocation of Revenue Bill, Senate Bills number 7 of 2020, be read a second time. So again, we are going to use the roll call to vote, just like we did the other time. So the bell should be, direct that the bell be rung for 1 minute. For 5 minutes, okay. 5 minutes, okay. 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 The whips, make sure your members are in. Whips. Oh, give us the tellers for the ayes. Senator Cherargei, for yes or no? Eh? Eh? The noes? Who is the teller for the no? Okay. Can we start? Let's start the voting.
Honorable Senators, the county allocation of revenue bill, Senate bills number 7 of 2020, second reading, roll call. Senator Adan Dulo Fatuma, Isiolo County.
Mr. Speaker, I vote yes.
Senator Ali Abdullahi Ibrahim, Wajir County.
I vote yes.
Senator Boy Issa Juma, Kwale County.
I vote yes.
Senator Gerard K. Samson Kiprotich, Nandi County.
I vote yes.
Senator Cheriot Aaron Kipkirui, Kericho County.
I vote yes.
Senator Haji Mohamed Yusuf, Garissa County.
I vote yes.
Senator Hagura Godana, Marsabit County.
Mr. Speaker, I vote yes.
Senator Imana Malakai Charles Sekal, Turkana County. Senator Kabaka Boniface Mutinda, Machakos County. Senator Kajwang Moses Otieno, Homa Bay County.
I vote yes.
Senator Kamar Margaret Jebkoech, Uasin Gishu County.
I vote yes.
Senator Kangata Irongo, Moranga County.
I vote yes.
Senator Haniri George, Vihiga County.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I vote yes.
Senator Kibiru Charles Robinson, Kirinyaga County.
I vote yes. I vote yes.
Senator Kihika Susan Wakarura, Nakuru County.
I vote yes. Thank you.
Senator Kimani Wamatangi Paul, Kiambu County.
Napiga ndio.
Senator Kindiki Kithure, Tharaka Nithi County.
Mr. Speaker, for the sake of one Kenya, I vote yes.
Senator Kirenyaga Ephraim Mwangi Maina, Nyeri County. Senator Langat Christopher Andrew, Bomet County.
I vote yes.
Senator Lelegwel Tumbesi, Samburu County. Senator Linturi Franklin Mithika, Meru County. Senator Loitip Anwar, Lamu County.
I vote yes.
Senator Mazayo Stewart Mwachiru, Kilifi County.
I vote yes.
Senator Mahamud Mohamed Maalim, Mandera County.
Mr. Speaker, I vote yes.
Senator Malala Cleophas Wahungu, Kakamega County.
I vote yes.
Senator Mbito Michael Malinga, Trans Nzoia County. Senator Mbogo George Ochilo Ayako, Migori County.
Mr. Speaker, for monies for all counties, I vote yes.
Senator Mogeni Eric Okongo, Nyamira County.
I vote yes.
Senator Moi Gideon Kipsielei Towet, Baringo County. Senator Mpayei Philip Salau, Kajiado County. Senator Murkomen Onesimus Kipchumba, Elgeyo Marakwet County.
I vote yes.
Senator Mutula Kilonzo Jr., Makueni County.
I vote yes.
Senator Mwangi Paul Githiomi, Nyandarua County. Senator Mwaruma Jones Mwashushe, Taita Taveta County.
I vote yes.
Senator Mwinyi Haji Mohamed Faki, Mombasa County.
I vote yes.
Senator Nderito John Kinyua, Laikipia County.
I vote yes.
Senator Ndwiga Peter Njeru, Embu County. Senator Olekina Ledama, Narok County.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I vote yes.
Senator Ongeri Samson Kegengo, Kisii County.
I vote emphatically yes.
Senator Orengo James, Siaya County.
Mr. Speaker, I vote yes.
Senator Outa Frederick Otieno, Kisumu County.
Mr. Speaker, I vote yes.
Senator Pogisio Samuel Losuron, West Pokot County. Senator Sakaja Johnson Arthur, Nairobi County.
I vote yes.
Senator Wako Sitwila Amos, Busia County.
I vote yes.
Senator Wambua Enoch Kio, Kitui County.
Mr. Speaker, I vote yes.
Senator Wario Golich Juma, Tana River County.
I vote yes. You're on record. Come here. Come here. I vote yes.
Senator Wetangula Moses Masika, Bungoma County.
Mr. Speaker, I vote yes.
Senator Imana Malakai Charles Ekal, Senator Kabaka Boniface Mutinda, Machakos County. Senator Kirenyaga Ephraim Mwangi Maina, Nyeri County. Senator Leleguel Tumbesi, Samburu County. Senator Linturi Franklin Mithika, Meru County. Senator Mbito Michael Malinga, Trans Nzoia County. Senator Moi Gideon Kipsielei Towet, Baringo County. Senator Mpayei Philip Salau, Kajiado County. Senator Mwangi Paul Githiomi, Nyandarua County. Senator Ndwiga Peter Njeru, Embu County. Senator Pogisio Samuel Losuron, West Pokot County.
Mr. Speaker, I vote yes. Okay, take your seats. Take your seats, senators. Okay, order, senators. Before I read the results, I just want to remind senators that there's another voting, so you will hang around so that we conclude this business tonight. So, results of the division are as follows. The nays have 0, abstention 0, ayes 37. The ayes have it.
The County Allocation of Revenue Bill 2020, a bill for an act of parliament to provide for the equitable allocation of revenue raised nationally among the county governments for the 2020-2021 financial year, the responsibilities of national and county governments pursuant to such allocation, and for connected purposes.
Next order.
Order number 15, the County Allocation of Revenue Bill, Senate Bills number 7 of 2020, Committee of the Whole.
When the world changed, it made us go back to the simple joys and love the little things even more, like serving up your best, eating together, and sharing more. Now, we'll take nothing for granted and always remember to taste the simple joys. Coca-Cola, taste the simple joys.
Tonight on KBC Channel 1.
Beyond Zero Safari that we had last year was a milestone, and it gave us a good opening for us to give out even ourselves and the services, the health services, because the turn-up was good.
Children born with disabilities deserve to be protected. And today,